Greetings, fellow Amblemites. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Santa Claus.
And Gabby.
And welcome to the second season of Spielberg Month on the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. Since Steven Spielberg does not do commentaries on his own films, we've decided to do the heavy lifting and uncover the hidden treasures and secrets within 5 of Steven's best movies. From Mashed Potatoes to Jeff Goldblum's, from Premonitions to Big Friendly Giants. Batten down the hatches as we dive into another installment of Spielberg Month. Da 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 da. Oh God!
I wanted to sing that.
All right, we're not doing ET. Of course, we did ET last year, but I wanted to keep ET alive in spirit. Okay, folks. So welcome back to Spielberg Month. We're doing this. This is more like Spielberg week and a half, in all honesty, because we've got a lot of, we had kind of a hectic first half of the month trying to deal with the copyright crap. But we're back on the same page. We're back on speed here. So Spielberg Month is going to be towards the end of June, but it will still be happening all in June. So our first installment, folks, is something that we really should have done last year's Spielberg Month. Maybe done this instead of The Terminal.
Hey,
Dragon.
I'll still defend The Terminal. That was a good movie.
Yeah, I won't defend The Terminal. Shots fired. We are discovering Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Oh God. So this, of course, is a seminal Spielberg classic, but I feel like it's a Spielberg movie that it doesn't necessarily get overlooked, but I feel like a lot of movies in his filmography kind of overshadow it. So, Dragon, do you have any backstory before we get into it?
Of course I do, yes.
Backstory's your life, man. Go for it.
All right, folks, here's how we got the famous film, of course, is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So essentially, as to boil it down here, Steven Spielberg had the concept for this very movie for many years. The origin was, and the scene again, various scenes in this film depict the origin of this project. Is that in real life, Steven Spielberg, as a boy, his father woke up in the middle of the night, woke up all Spielberg and his brothers and sisters. Sisters, I forget if he has any brothers. They only had sisters. Anyway, the point is, wake up the whole Spielberg clan. In the middle of the night, they're all groggy. He's like, what time is it? No, it doesn't tell them the time. He drags them out, and basically he puts like a picnic blanket out, and basically they watch a meteor shower. And this is
wow. Nice.
In space and kind of the stars and what lies beyond. It's the origin of that. So that scene is the main origin point of this film. Then we get, as Spielberg goes on like this idea and kind of that idea of kind of what else is out there. He's explored the film along the way, and bear in mind, he's always working on this in the back of his mind. But the first time we ever saw this kind of come out is kind of our main homage to our main image here. Is did a short film called Firelight, and the short film called Firelight, of course, is very notable for having a kid who opens a door with like this big shining light outside of it, which of course is a hallmark image of Close Encounters. So let's see. So he really was developing the idea. He's been developing the idea into a film ever since Sugarland Express, and all the way through Jaws with Richard Dreyfuss. Hence Richard Dreyfuss's role in this film. The two of them were talking things over and bouncing ideas off of each other throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept began as just kind of like, again, broadly just kind of about UFO culture. But then after Watergate happened, then you have like kind of the conspiracy element introduced to it all. So that's where a lot of that came from. Just that mixture is what gives you Close Encounters for the most part.
And of course, this conspiracy element is something that they'll play with later in ET. Like I feel like this in a lot of ways
absolutely
was like a more ambitious and artistic version of ET, although not quite as lovable. Certainly.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There are a lot of, obviously, E.T. does a lot of the genesis of E.T. is born in this film. Actually, E.T., the concept of E.T. actually was a deleted idea at the end of this film.
Yeah, like, I feel like the ending of this film and E.T. are almost kind of mirrors of each other in a lot of ways.
Very true.
Uh-huh.
So let's see. So just like into so obviously now this is important. So after Jaws, obviously Jaws being the huge mega success it was, that gave Spielberg a lot of cachet, a lot of clout in Hollywood. So especially with Columbia, who I believe made this film, And basically, and he could cast any actor he wanted. So he went to a lot of the big names on this one. He wasn't like kind of like looking. He wasn't like pouring his heart out to Roy Scheider to be in Jaws. Like anyone, like he went to Steve McQueen, who was his first choice for the main character of Roy. And Steve McQueen said, "Oh man, again, that's a big deal. Get a meeting with Steve McQueen. Let's make that clear." And basically, McQueen says, "This is a wonderful script. I love it, but I can't do because I can't cry on cue. And you need the tears at the end of this movie for the Roy characters. I'm sorry, I won't damage your film. You guys got it." So again, that was a real admirable thing that McQueen did there. And then he goes to all the other Hollywood bigwigs. He goes to Al Pacino. He goes to Jack Nicholson. Goes to Gene Hackman. Oh, the wonderful Gene Hackman. And they're all not cut out for him. And here's the funny thing. Richard Dreyfuss, again, he's been talking over the thing very casually even after Jaws. Like, again, he's always been kind of his confidant on this project. So basically, Dreyfuss, he secretly wants it. He just basically says, you don't want those guys. I mean, Nicholson he's gonna give you a runaround, that sort of thing. And basically, eventually, he kind of talks Spielberg into putting him in the movie. And of course, just based on all the work he kind of contributed to the movie, of course, he's going to put him in the movie. He seemed very right for the part. Just all the casting in general for the players, they all wanted. Spielberg really wanted like a very young looking cast. Like they feel like kids almost, like a very kind of childlike innocence with the cast.
Mm-hmm.
You get with almost all the characters in a way. Just to boil it down, there were a lot of various writers, and for some reason they were uncredited. Only Spielberg was credited because there were at least 4 different writers. They went through 4. You had Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver. You had John Hill, who was a TV writer. David Giler, who Ned. This one's the guy that really brings. He, I assumed it was from this movie actually. Dave Giler, he writes all the Alien movies.
Okay.
Which came after this movie, so you got to wonder, how much of that's connected there.
Sure.
And Jerry Belson, who did Fun with Dick and Jane, the original version, points he and Spielberg work together. And in the end, Spielberg he kind of does a draft of, and that's the one he gets credit for. There's a big title battle with the studio because for the longest time they're going to call it Kingdom Come or various like Kingdom Come and the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So if you get that was the only thing he really had to fight Columbia on, because it was a risk for Columbia, but they put their stock in Spielberg and in the end, of course, it all paid off. And basically Spielberg was the James Cameron of his day with films like this and everything onwards. You got to remember the early Spielberg in his career, he was topping himself constantly at the box office as being the highest grossing.
Oh yeah.
So this is the first time I believe he topped himself from Jaws, and then of course E.T. and various other things onwards keeps topping himself. James Cameron of his day. So that's the main crux of the concept of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Right, and of course, as you said, this was a big follow-up to Jaws, so he kind of had free reign to do whatever he wanted. And as I said, I think even more so than Jaws. Like, Jaws kind of set the modern blueprint for blockbuster filmmaking in general, but I think this basically made the blueprint for a Spielberg movie, if that makes sense.
Debatable even for just the sci-fi alien movie period.
Sure, definitely. Like, for example, I think a lot of parallels to this can be found in something like Arrival. Anyways, sure. Folks, so we're done with the backstory. Let's set up the commentary. So, essentially, what we do here on Spielberg Month is we do, of course, do the audio commentaries for the films. Because, Steven, we love you, buddy. But, come on, give us some commentary love. We're here to pick up the slack for you, man. Because we love you.
Why?
But, wait, did you just call him Spielg?
Well, I said Spiel, but I guess Spiel would be the more.
I think I think Spielberg, or I think Spielg would be better than Spiel.
You're right. I can see on that point. Yes.
Spielg. B. How dare you call him Spielg?
But he's like everyone's film-friendly uncle.
Oh God. Anyways, so the whole point of this is not just to provide a commentary track for Close Encounters, although obviously that's what we're going to be doing. But the point of Spielberg Month as a whole is to kind of see kind of explore the connective tissue of the Steven Spielberg films and his entire filmography. So we'll be going back to films that, we'll be referencing films that we already talked about. Of course, we've already referenced Jaws and E.T. I'm sure we'll reference those more as it goes on. So this is going to be definitely a commentary on Close Encounters, but also a sort of a long-form discussion on the career and style of Steven Spielberg as a whole.
Certainly.
All right. Well, folks, we are going to be watching the director's cut. This is important to note because it is 2 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. The timestamp should be somewhere right around 2 hours and 17 minutes. If you guys want to watch the commentary along with us, go ahead and sync your timestamp on whatever device you are watching this on to timestamp 000. I will count up from 1 to 3 and then say go. When I say go,
of course, we're going to try to keep a conversation, so you won't need to do that. But again,
of course, yeah. And like I said, we'll do our level best to keep it conversational. But all right. But when I say go ahead and press play. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah.
In 1, 2, 3, go! Close encounters. All right. So this film just has such a deliberate build to it. That's one of my favorite elements.
Yeah, it does. It does, doesn't it?
It's got a slow drive to it. I don't think it's a boring movie. I think it's a very
No.
deliberate movie.
I honestly didn't find it slow either, though. I mean, I think it went well.
It had. I think it had its slow points, but at the same time, it would cut back to different things that would keep you engaged.
Yeah, and of course we'll get into it more as we talk through the movie, but I think the main character of Roy is definitely the driving force in the film, and I honestly think he's one of the more underrated Steven Spielberg characters.
Quite possibly, yes.
I'm sorry, Dragon, you sounded... Dragon?
What?
Oh, it sounded like when I said Roy was a good character, you sounded kind of perplexed by that.
No. I see he's a good character. He's a good performance. I'm just saying, just on the whole, this movie, I think the rewatch. It's been many years since I've seen Close Encounters. I think collectively we just kind of start off here. Collectively, we all know Close Encounters from the ending, of course, which is that's what kind of gets into like
And the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, the music here, it got me really excited. Like you have this these
This is
strings. Yeah, the build up, the strings and the horns and everything. It made me think the music in this was going to be like extraordinary, but okay, I had to wait for that to go by. I couldn't hear myself.
Understood.
I really wasn't impressed with the music in this all that much. It just seemed like it was, all over the place.
Okay, here's what I like about the score in this film. I feel like this score is... I really like how the score takes the one theme, which is, of course, that pattern that gets repeated throughout the film. And kind of that's the driving force behind the score, and that's what makes the score really work for me.
Right.
Here's an interesting fact. Originally, they wanted to do this whole opening in the Amazon. The same discovery, just it was going to be in the Amazon. They couldn't afford it, so they put it in someplace much easier to shoot, which would be the desert land.
This reminds me of the opening to Jurassic Park in a lot of ways. Not like the opening scene, but specifically the scene with the lawyer, like discovering the embryo.
Yeah.
I think this is a great way to kind of start a film, just kind of this point of intrigue. It's like a cold open for a movie, which obviously it's not too foreign a concept, but it's like, are we the first? That's a great way to kind of, it's great first line for the movie.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, what I was just kind of getting at was, bro, I think I appreciate this film a lot better on the rewatch, because it always just looks beautiful. I feared it might have been stellar substance, but yeah, on the rewatches, obviously they have these great. It's so well edited, and you got a lot of really great paths. I will agree with Sandy that there are slow points, and we'll get into those. I think along the line. I think it always use trimming.
How does this guy see? He's wearing sunglasses underneath his goggles, which are covered in layers of dust.
Because it's called a movie, my darling.
But how does he see? This guy, I thought he was Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
He looks like him, doesn't he?
Sandy, I'm embarrassed for you.
Now, this is Bob. This actor is Bob Baladan, who is, if I believe it's his name right, that is Russell from Seinfeld. You remember the NBC executive in charge of Jerry and George's pilot for the folks out there. That's why he looks a little familiar. So that's good old Lachlan here.
He kind of honestly looks a lot like Hooper from Jaws.
I'm very much agree with you there.
Like at first, I thought it was that actor.
Okay. Wait. Oh snap!
What?
I'm thinking of the wrong guy here.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
All right, the point is, yes, he does look a little bit like Richard Dreyfuss, Tiki from Jaws. Very, very true.
Right.
It's really this is a cool opening. Of course, you do see a parody in a few places. I believe A Night at the Museum 3 parodies this opening a little.
Okay, Tiki, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the right guy here. You
Yeah,
said he
Hooper
looks
from
like Hooper.
Jaws. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said it looks like Hooper from Jaws, and that made me
which he
think that it
does.
wasn't
He does look
Richard.
a lot like Hooper from Jaws.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's why I thought it was the same guy.
I can see the confusion.
Now, this is a really cool idea, and it's the idea of this in real life. There was a missing flight that disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle, and
well, yeah,
and it's just
multiple flights.
yes, exactly. I'm saying flight. There's the idea. It's the whole collective Flight 19, and
Oh.
it's the idea of kind of building kind of something that's from history, but adding kind of the slant to. Okay, what if we found them at some point? It's kind of a great kind of taking a page from history and adding some more intrigue to it.
Right.
Spielberg is kind of known for, as we see with the Indiana Jones movies, of course. That's why he's always doing that stuff all the time, just kind of adding an additional awesome page to the history.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does that throughout his films. And of course, we'll get into some of the more historical of his films. But even in those, I feel like he, not necessarily he doesn't embellish, but he does find a way to make those events very theatrical.
Yeah.
Now, there are several points in this movie where it reminds me a lot of Raiders, and this
yeah,
is
for sure.
definitely one.
Exactly. And again, maybe the point of Genesis for a lot of that stuff, possibly.
I have that
Of course,
exact same hat.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's also kind of interesting that again, Lucas has a very much of course, a big hand in Indiana Jones. It shows you kind of the Indiana Jones was Lucas's baby, and Spielberg kind of brought it to life, and it's in a way they both kind of came from similar kind of visual places on that.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. The score I think is more in line with the traditional John Williams score than the Jaws score is. But we were kind of talking about this in the Jaws commentary we did last year, where of course the Jaws score has obviously the famous, the iconic piece of music that everyone knows, the Jaws theme, but a lot of that music is just very much jaunty, sort of do 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 do. She's sea shanty kind of music.
Yeah, it's dun, 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 it's on not just the main Jaws thing, but yeah, we're off on an adventure sort of vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this, even though this isn't the most iconic of John Williams scores, and it's not the best John Williams score, I feel like this is the blueprint for the modern John Williams
Well,
score.
speaking of John Williams, of course, John Williams being a great student of Bernard Herrmann in a way, of course, as we all are. I just want to kind of transition a little bit here. Of course, we have the wonderful and talented Truffaut. Francois Truffaut.
Yes, this is a great character.
As Lacombe. And of course, it's a very unconventional choice. He's got to remember, he shoulders a very important role in the film, yet, of course, you have a non-English, English as a first language is not really Truffaut's forte, and that hence the translator. And any filmmaker in their right mind would think, well, that seems like kind of an extra unnecessary step to take, but of course, just the way kind of Truffaut kind of adds these, kind of adds kind of that likability to him. He gives that smile. When this thing I appreciate a lot more on the rewatch. It's that we have all these great clues that definitely pay off at the very end and throughout the film in places. We see the sunburn on the old witness, and
Yeah, definitely.
and again, Truffaut, then he looks at him and he gives him that smile. That's the reason you get Truffaut in the role, because Truffaut not only is a fantastic director, he's also one of the great stars. Essentially, he was kind of the Orson Welles, but if Orson Welles did more films in France, it's essentially what Truffaut is. Truffaut was French Hitchcock. That's the best word. He and Hitchcock did that book together.
I also feel like it gives a good role to the interpreter as sort of the voice of the audience. You know what I mean? Where this guy's a little out of his field, and he's sort of whereas Truffaut is the expert. So it kind of gives that give and take dynamic in a lot of ways.
It does kind of lay some track for Roy's character, where it's this sort of he's a guy kind of thrown into this, and he's a little scared of where he's going in this.
Sure.
So it's everyone's just kind of thrown out of their element in this movie because of these UFOs.
So again, this is just the film just does a great job of sort of building the atmosphere, building the conspiracy.
Yes. Of course, yeah, we have the classic air traffic controller scene.
Oh yeah.
Not as intense as some we'd see in Breaking Bad years later, but of course, very oh my
no,
god.
Dragon, not as intense as that. No.
Scared to even ask.
No season payoffs on that one.
enough with the Breaking Bad.
All right. Yeah, but this is another cool idea here. Just like, okay, where everyone, like, the idea of UFO culture at this time is that, just claiming that you saw a UFO would kind of paint you in a certain light, and you're just avoiding that. Like this, like the air traffic controllers here are asking, like, do you want to report a UFO? Hello? Can you hear me? He says, no, it's no, we don't want to report a UFO. They're
I
very
really
afraid.
love that idea. That idea, I feel like, is almost like a thesis statement for the rest of the film in a lot of ways.
Yes.
It's sort of like what the Roy character has to grapple with.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm just sort of waiting for Roy to show up, to be honest with you. 'Cause
Honestly, right?
there's a lot of stuff I want to get into with his character.
Oh, should we take a minute to talk about the differences in cuts here?
I guess so, sure.
I'm just saying to make sure we get in there is to address the difference.
Because I don't know
we're talking
anything about that.
So essentially, there are three versions of this film, folks. We're talking about the director's cut, which is essentially this is the third one released, and this is like Spielberg's preferred cut. This is like kind of his dream version of these. Initially, the theatrical version was he had his issues with it, and he wishes he could have touched up a certain amount of things. And years later, kind of in light of all the special editions of Star Wars in the '80s, if I'm right, when this one is, when the special edition was, is that they. Basically, he went to Columbia asking if he can, kind of touch up and add some things and kind of, make some cuts make some additions or cuts he wanted to make. But they said, yeah, sure, we have to market the special edition on something, so you have to show us what's inside the spaceship at the end, which is something Spielberg absolutely didn't want to do because it's the classic. The audience is going to come with something a million times better than whatever you can imagine.
Right.
And he had to craft something. They market the crap out of it on that. And then there are a few. Basically, from what I've heard, the special edition has much darker in the middle for Roy's character. Basically, we excise him going crazy, and him digging up the lawn and everything. From what I've heard, him digging up everything. Essentially, he was a real sad scene in the shower where he's just kind of like saying, "Oh God, I'm so over my head." And Terry Garr's character, Ronnie, was super just really mean to him.
Mm-hmm.
And basically said, I'm tired of your crap. It's turning up the house. And she basically leaves with the kids the next morning instead of leaving out of all the stuff he did.
Okay, folks, and I'd like to present to you Poltergeist 1.0. That's right, folks. It is Poltergeist 1.0.
Just to clarify, everyone, what Dragon was saying there. Basically, in short, there's three different versions, and the director's cut, which is the one we're currently watching, is the one Spielberg prefers.
Yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't have the ending where you're going to see everything.
I'm sorry, Drag. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just really wanted to get into the scene where there's so much poltergeist going on in the scene.
This monkey, why would you have that in your room in the dark?
Well, it's like the stand-in for the poltergeist clown. It's like the creepy toy.
Something to point out, of course.
Creepy tree in the window.
It's a very classic toy, of course.
Why is the child getting out of bed, though? That's my concern. It's like, why is this child running around the freaking house?
I feel like because he's just compelled by the aliens. That's it, right?
Honestly, if this was me, I'd be like, all right, I'm under the bed. Bye, everybody.
This is a really good kid actor. Let's set that up.
He is.
They actually had a nickname for him, One Take Carry.
One Take Carry.
Because basically they couldn't really. It's not that they couldn't direct him.
Good setup right here for the dog door.
Now the idea here, and if it's not this, I'm really confused because the idea is the aliens actually went in here personally and they were messing around with stuff, and actually they might be here in this exact scene was what the kid's looking at right now.
I think that I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, and like I said, that's sort of why the kid's compelled. You know what I mean? And also I think there's definitely a psychic connection this kid has with the aliens as well.
Possibly, yes.
They really picked a cute little child.
What's funny? Adorable. The way he looks up here, looks at him, the way they get this reaction, he's a little scared at first, and he's all happy-go-lucky. It's hilarious. They had two guys. One was dressed in the gorilla suit, and one was dressed as a clown. They were in crates, not crates. They were in cardboard boxes, and basically, when he walked in the scene, he stopped on his mark. They came out of the boxes, and that's why he's looking a little scared. And he's looking at the girl, and then the girl takes its head off, and it's a friendly guy he knew, and he's all smiley at it. That's how they this kid really was Spielberg knew how to direct this kid, and that's hence the One Take Carry things that he not only did he take direction, well, basically he would improvise, and he improvised so well.
Wow.
One take. Basically, a lot of the stuff you see this kid do is improvise, and they just kind of keep it the way it is because we don't need to do another take. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What
Hey
timestamp are you guys?
I'm just checking really quick. Are you getting any background audio on my end? Because my dad's TV in the other room is really loud. And
I don't think.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, I'm
can't-
just checking. I'm just paranoid. So okay,
Well,
never mind.
Sandy,
Forget I said anything.
Barry's running out right now. He's right on the outside of the house where we're at.
Oh, what's the time mark though?
I got like
1436.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 14:42 right now for me.
43.
Yeah, I might be a
44.
I might be a few seconds off, but I mean, I'm about roughly the
Yeah.
same place. Yes.
Well, at any rate, here's the introduction to Roy right here.
Yes.
I've got to say, one of the weak points in the film, I really don't like the son.
Now, Tiki, here's the thing. I'm sorry, Gabby. By all means, go on.
No, I was just gonna say I'm not a big fan of him either. Just to be
I-
blunt,
I just don't think the kid actor is that good.
he's
I
not.
think he has a dorpy haircut. He just like I want to punch him in the face a little bit.
Tiki, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing: on the rewatch, this kind of struck me because
Okay.
I hated this kid too. But here's what struck
Okay.
me. I think it's intentional. I think you're supposed to hate this kid.
Because basically the idea is that Roy
Yeah.
giving up on his family is not a bad thing.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's why certain choices with this family are made the way. Because the first watch I didn't get that. I just thought it was the first kind of
Like, gee, this family's unpleasant.
yeah. Because initially I just thought I just don't really get this. But then if it's giving him a reason for
The
him not
whole
to stay.
play of this film, the whole transformation of Roy's character is that he turns from a guy who's just sort of going through the motions and kind of has this shit family life to a guy who has something to live for and has something to believe in.
Yes, and Spielberg goes into this, and especially at the end, these choices with the family, like this again, these are unconventional choices for the time. They're representative of kind of the filmmaker Spielberg was in the '70s versus the one he is now.
And again, a classic example of Spielberg daddy issues. Oh yeah.
Well, his haircut is also horrible though because this was 1977. So I mean,
Okay, yeah, but
I will
still,
say this:
it's a
out of all the
horrible
kids,
haircut.
I hated the boy the most. I hated the oldest boy the most. He just seems stupid.
Like, I don't
look
really
at
have
look at the
any-
middle child for a second here. He is literally just destroying this doll.
Now,
Are we all?
by the way,
forgetting-
this whole scene is it wasn't in the theatrical.
Oh, okay, okay.
I honestly, I got to tell you this because I'm more familiar with the theatrical. Is that the introduction to Roy was a lot better than the theatrical. I got to be honest.
Really?
It was really cool. We start off with the train crashing. That was really representative of Roy's family life, and then we kind of saw he was like playing like a jovial kid, and his train wrecked.
Uh-huh.
To me, that was a really good introduction. I'm surprised that it didn't make it in here. So again, they kind of combined stuff from the theatrical
I mean,
and the.
I
the
think
direct-
this works in a different sort of way because, like you said, it sort of illustrates sort of like the kid being a brat, the other kid sort of just like being a jerk. The daughter's honestly the only one I don't have a problem with.
Say, the little daughter is like she's a sweetheart. She's
Yeah,
just,
she's fine.
Yeah, she's got the
Yeah.
cute hat later on with the eye holes.
Right.
I love how this guy's like a model maker. I love that.
Mhm.
I know, yeah, and that's why I was so really enamored with that. It was like a really cool visual intro to the guy and told you
It
everything
is,
you need
it
to know
is,
about
yeah.
him. But now it's just kind of like we get to know the family a little bit more in this version, which I mean, it
I think
serves the
that's
same.
I think that's why it's in here. Greg.
Yeah.
And we do get to see the model making it work relatively early on in the scene. Like,
True.
we still get all that stuff. So
We do. Right. I will say this though.
I love the kids cheering at the power going out.
I will say this though. One of the reservations I still have with the film. I mean, I think I'm better on it with a rewatch, but I'm still kind of questioning. But given the added family stuff here, I don't know if this would have fixed that. I just would have liked to get to know. I would have liked to get to know Roy a little bit, to know what he was like before this occurrence happens. But I don't know how much of that's just kind of pipe dream. Like, would have really changed anything.
I don't think it would have changed much because I think the whole idea with Roy is that he is sort of just like a just kind of an average, kind of boring guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Who's a
with
little
that,
fed up with his family. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean,
That's the thing, yeah.
He's into like model making and model trains and stuff. He can't be that average.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I guess more what I'm trying to say is that like what we do get of him is maybe he's a guy who's sort of like stuck within the confines of his own life, and he wants more out of life. Like for example, with the whole Pinocchio thing, like his whole family like wants to go golfing, and he wants to see Pinocchio. It's like, yeah.
I was going to say the reason for Pinocchio in this movie is that was yet another like inspiration for the thing. Once when you wish upon a star, just that song was kind of what inspired the the da 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 da.
Oh, okay.
And that's what
I honestly always thought it was Simon.
believe it or not, they actually they got the rights from Disney back and they did use it, but they decided not to.
Oh wow, I'm kind of glad they didn't use it.
Yeah, but again, they still worked it into like the little wind up.
They did.
figure.
They did.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of a neat way of working. And basically, especially towards the end, the Williams music gets a little bit you hear like a twinge of When You Wish Upon a Star in the Williams music at the very end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where this is great, it calls him a turkey. It's very. It's funny. Now, and here's the thing I will always give this film credit for. It's just visually, it's so dazzling. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All these shots here. One was. It's hard to say because again, there's so many great Spielberg films. This might be one of the.
I mean,
best
I
shots.
think like the last 20 minutes of the film is just like visual, just eye candy. You know
That's
what
the
I
thing.
mean?
It might be the best shot of Spielberg film. I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment on it, but it's really hard to refute.
And here we go. Oh, such a classic shot. Oh my god.
This
Wow.
is
Wow.
great here.
Of course, we think it's headlights until it rises up.
And after we just
Oh,
had the
it's so
turkey
good.
thing with the other guy, it's the way it raises
Oh.
up. This is great. Now, this scene is just fantastic. The way they do this coming up, like I like the idea of just kind of these, the interference that comes when the aliens, they roll up by and basically have like gravitational and kind of electromagnetic, electrical issues going on here. And what they do is the way they shot this is that Dreyfus is strapped into the car and they put on a gimbal, so they're turning the car. At least they're turning the inside of the set, or I'm not sure if it's in the entire car or not. They're flipping it up, so everything's going to one side.
Nice.
You're kind of like the the Inception hole in a way, but you're
Oh
just
my
not going
god.
all the way around.
Sure.
And this is just fantastic. I love how they use light in this film. That's a big earmark of Spielberg, and maybe started
Light,
here.
yes, absolutely.
Honestly,
And
I
the
love
flashlight,
music
too.
right now.
I'm trying to figure out like how hot that looks creepy. The train stop.
Obviously, this scene, good old J.J. Abrams, our good old friend, he took a lot of inspiration from this scene with the train sequence in Super 8, if any of you guys have seen that.
I like how it gives a creepy feeling. Like,
It
kind
does.
of like just that eerie kind of like, ugh.
Like, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's just seeing like the mailboxes and the train stop. It's like moving unnaturally like that. It looks.
Mhm.
I get
I wonder
such
who
a.
C. Dickinson is. I'm sorry, it's just, I see that mailbox and it's like, who's C. Dickinson? You know, sounds so retarded, but it's.
And
Maybe
then-
Dickinson's sister, maybe, I don't know.
And then just as soon as it started, it was over.
He had, and of course, we see quite literally a close encounter.
Yep.
Oh my god! That might be one of my favorite scenes in the film. Just that one right there is the.
It's pure
right-
Spielberg magic, man. From the way that the shot initially is composed with the headlights to, to the lighting and everything, the searchlights.
This is what sells it for me. This is why I think it's my favorite. I love this aftermath here where he scares himself with a flashlight and then everything coming back on.
yeah, right.
That's just really, really funny. But you know it's kind of weird. I know it sounds kind of strange. I get kind of an Iron Giant vibe from the scene, especially with
No,
the train
I
tracks,
do
guess.
too. I can see that.
It just feels really cool. It just feels like because it is. It's Spielbergian. That's what it feels like. It's cool.
Obviously, yes.
And the best thing with the light that I think that makes the light stand out is that there's somehow darkness within the light with like fog and stuff. So that's kind of the cool effect of light. You
Right.
can't see anything, even though it's because it's so glaring and so bright. It's like that's what's intimidating about. Usually we see things through light. Usually there should be no fears, no. It's just there's all nothing but clarity, but no, there's darkness within the clarity and the smoke and everything. That's what's intimidating. It's clever.
That's a really good way to put it, Dragon. Yeah.
If I had to summarize the film with one word, it'd be clever. That's the thing I'd probably be saying most throughout this thing. But to answer Sandy's question, later on there is a scene with all these lights. You're right; it does get really hot in there. There's one scene where it got really, really hot with Melinda Dillon, with Jillian's character.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, of course, Melinda Dillon, the Miss Parker from Christmas Story, Ralphie's mom.
Yeah. Right.
Famous role.
Oh, that's an awesome shadow.
It's a beauty. And now this is added too by the shadow here. That's added for forget if it was in the special. or
I'm
not,
sorry,
but
it's going to be hard to talk about this film and not be like, oh, that's such a good shot. Okay, I really like the music cue that comes up here. It's so urgent. You know what I mean?
That's what I was saying. It's like, honestly, I really do enjoy just the music throughout the film. I don't see there's a problem with it. I think that it really actually works.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Gabby. I'm right there with you. I don't. As I said, I don't think it's as iconic as something like E.T. But
Right.
But I think it flows very well.
this scene is always.
I think it flows too. I don't know. When I think of John Williams, I think of like E.T. or Star Wars, and my expectations are set really high.
All right.
So this music is really great. It's just
Well, at the same time, though, I still take it as, it goes well with the movie. So even though it's not as quote unquote iconic, it still goes well with the film.
Of course, I agree.
Okay, well, what are these morons just watching this kid in the road?
I gotta tell you, the Bigfoot guy, especially the one who's whistling, he creeps me out so much. This scene creeps me out so much. It's like whistling as this kid's walking by.
I hear you.
In darkness. That to me, just
Something
every
else-
time I watch it, it's still really creepy.
Something else about the film and the music, though, wasn't the music made before the film, and then Steven Spielberg actually added it in and edited where he needed it to be?
Dragon, do you know anything about that?
I know they had it figured out, and they had it figured out early on. I don't know how early on though, so I think that's somewhat correct.
Mhm.
I thought so, because I thought...
Because again, the music is a very pivotal part of the third act. And the third act was figured out the way Spielberg crafted. He figured out the ending first, kind of like the Andrew Stanton model. He figured out the ending, and then he went back to figure out the rest. Is most likely for that scene he needed the music, so probably had it from the very beginning. Then.
Yeah, I think what he did was he created the score before the film was edited,
Or at the
and
very
then
least,
Spielberg...
maybe the iconic piece of music that's used at the end.
Well, I think Spielberg edited the film to match the music.
I could see that.
Oh, so by the way, and this was a thing Spielberg spoke to. I gotta admit, it's just super clever. It is. It's the idea is like you'll see what the designs of the spaceships. A lot of them are modeled after Earth-like kind of imagery. Like one of them has like a I forget if it's past 31, just when they all went through, but it has like kind of the golden arches from McDonald's built into it, hence the McDonald's sign.
Does it really? Oh
yeah,
my god!
Basically, if the way it moves, like it makes like an illusion of like two arches next to each other when it moves, and they have like Texaco or like some other gas company.
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna look for that as they go through here.
Like an Exxon sign, like they have Earth-like, and there's a truck later on. Like they all have like Earth-like designs built into the ships. Not every ship, but like a majority of the ships, kind of like to show like the aliens have been studying the Earth.
So yeah, we're about a half hour into the film, a little less than a half hour, and like we're getting the aliens now. You know what I mean? Like we're getting the inciting incident. I think
encounters.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the film is very briskly paced.
See, and I think the score here is even better because now it's like all of a sudden it's more intense.
This
Oh
is
my
really
God.
dark. These policemen just driving off the side of the road.
Let's see. The theatrical, the guy survives. So let's see.
I don't think in the director's
he's-
cut they.
No, they just showed he landed. That means he's okay.
Oh, okay.
They landed all on four wheels. There was like a road below him, so he's safe regardless. I guess
Right.
Maybe the special edition killed him off. I don't know. Like maybe that's if he was killed. And that's the cool thing. The reason this is really cool. So one of the reasons one of the various scripts didn't work, and Spielberg kind of kept going to different writers, is originally the Roy character was a uniformed guy. Like at one version he was a cop, and one version he was a military guy. And Spielberg, as we see with kind of the Watergate-esque kind of stuff here with the conspiracy stuff, you don't trust government guys in suits. And the purpose of this scene is, okay, we have someone who's going to be, like someone who'd be credible in court if they were brought in, like, cops along there to kind of witness this with Roy. So Roy's just not like a lone crazy man. So, okay, other credible witnesses are seeing him, but just it's kind of interesting given like all the permutations of Roy. And that's why he has kind of not a blue collar job. He has a very simple, he's a very everyman job as a computer.
Well, he is definitely an everyman character at the outset of this story for sure.
And speaking of the father stuff, of course, the daddy issue, Spielberg always kind of infused.
Daddy issue.
There's more of that later on, but something the point is that Spielberg's father in real life he was a computer guy. And that's of course just that kind of connects to what Roy is here. So of course a little bit of symbolism there.
Nothing's wrong. Half of my face is red. I'm sure it's burning. Nothing's wrong.
Now, because we're talking over, I might have missed this if there's any difference here. But with Terry Garr, of course, Deacon, of course, we love Terry Garr from Young Frankenstein, but great, powerful Terry Garr. Yeah, as Ronnie here, but as she is in this movie, she's making intentional choices to be irritating. Like she's
almost kind of like a Skylar White-esque.
Yes. And that's the thing. She made deliberate, like Spielberg kind of gave her.
Us, Walt.
Oh God! But gave her deliberate choices. Like she has, like in the scene coming up, she's the one who's going to pick apart, like what kind of ice cream. Like he instructed her, give her like those kinds of choices. Like like really pick apart the unimportant details, like to get under his skin almost. Like again, make the decision to leave easier by making the family more unlikable or irritating.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's all about making that ending satisfying because, I mean, the ending really is a powerful moment. You know what I mean? And we can't go into that ending thinking that he's not doing the right thing.
Yeah, like right here, like here's where she's asking kind of the irritating questions. It was like, like picking apart the wrong details. What flavor?
Like a taco? Honestly, I just love watching these films and going through like with their choice of like costume design for the movie. And a lot of times they don't make any sense. I mean, in the beginning of the movie, lady was freaking wearing a shirt and a pair of jean shorts to bed. Some of these things that they really put into detail, I'm like, but why? What does this have to do with anything?
It was the 70s, Gabby. It was a different time.
Exactly. The 77. You're not supposed to understand what it meant.
Now here's something with Ronnie here. Just again, you kind of see kind of the fault and basically what Spielberg's going for with the whole unsympathetic family is that she's making this thing about him. She's not really worried. She's not really like hearing him out. She's basically making it about herself. Hey, remember we were young and romantic?
Yeah,
she's trying to distract him with her thing versus like giving him time of day for his thing.
Exactly.
And of course, this whole scene where she got everyone out here, that was the origin of the film. That's Spielberg, his father.
Of course.
Meteor shower. Yeah.
Okay, so I really like this back and forth we have between the government stuff and the family stuff. I think as we kind of, it definitely sets a momentum for the rest of the film moving forward, I think.
And this Scobie Desert thing, this was added. This, in both, like, this was an added thing because they wanted to do this, but they didn't have the money for it back then. The theatrical version had this kind of the ship in the desert thing.
Mm-hmm. This is a great reveal, too. It's very classic Spielberg, like, oh, the government's coming! The government's coming!
How does this ship end up in the middle of...
Do you mean literally how did they shoot this?
No, how the ship, this big ship that's
electromagnets?
Well, it's the idea.
Kind of what I guess.
It's how they got the planes. I guess when they're flying over the Bermuda Triangle, basically they kind of maybe create some sort of portal and it lands there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I thought the planes had just landed there, and then the people got abducted.
Maybe. Well, that's fair too. Again, it's a little vague. So I mean, I just based on the ship, I can only assume that it's like they kind of teleported it somehow and then just kind of like landed, kind of Titanic side up.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, this scene is quite. There's some noticeable elements of this scene. Like, yeah, this is added because we have a little bit of CG here and there with some of the dunes.
So wait, CG?
Yeah, it had some CG dunes that they passed when the helicopters were arriving. Some of that was.
I don't think it's that noticeable.
Well, I mean, I can see why they could lose the scene and not really miss anything. Because again, we kind of got all this with the opening,
I mean, I agree. It's not like it's definitely. I don't know. I still think that I like the back and forth, though.
Yeah,
I think it sets a certain pace to the movie that really works well.
And the weird thing is that Lacombe isn't in this scene.
I don't think he needs to be in every scene.
That's fair. I'm just saying we have the interpreter, but he's not there. It's kind of, but yeah, that's fair.
But as I said, I think the interpreter, his whole point is that he's the the eye of the audience when it comes to the the government scenes.
Again, this is kind of a Skylar move right here, what she's doing here, where she's cutting out the sections of paper that are going to set his UFO thing off even further.
Oh, God,
she's kind of intentionally trying to hurt him here. Here, I think. Oh no, this bit's kind of fun. It's like, again, this is kind of the stuff I wanted to see a little bit more of, I guess. But again, we kind of have enough of it as is. It's just like a little kind of slice of life with Roy. Just kind of the kids getting the shit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, the toothpaste gag's really fun. Of course, it leads to the shaving cream thing. Yeah, that's a Dreyfus charm right there. It's just him kind of laughing it off after he's over the top, and she's just kind of killing the fun right there.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she
To be
is.
fair, a lot of moms have to kill the fun. They have to be the bad guys, so it's kind of just to get
And then
credit.
here we go. I love the momentum of the of the mountain. I love how that sort of pays off and drives its way through the film.
So here's a stretch of a Spielberg reference. You ready for this?
Oh God, no, I don't. Shaving cream from Jurassic Park.
Yep, that's exactly the
Oh,
part.
God.
That's exactly where I'm going with it.
Oh God, of course.
You know what, T? I know how much you love the mashed potatoes, and also, I get that. I think until we get, I like it better when he models it onward. I don't really care for like kind of just. It seems like more crazy when he does it like this. It seems more practical when he kind of actually sculpts what the thing looks like. 'Cause it seems like, well, if you can sculpt,
But Dragon, the whole idea. I mean, I'm honestly kind of surprised.
Here's that dumb moment with this kid right here. Is this like this dumb as a sack of rocks? This kid. No, I'm sorry, T. Please go on.
No, yeah. I think the whole point of like the sculpting dragon is, of course, it's supposed to be like sort of a like kind of a psychic thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like he sees the mountain in his head and he's just trying to construct it and make it out, and maybe he doesn't have the complete shape of it down just yet. And he doesn't really even know why he's drawn to make the shape to begin with.
That's fair. I mean, I can buy them. This part of me is just still kind of curious, like why we can't just have one example of that instead of like various. But I get it.
Well, as I said, I think it's just kind of the build of the movie. It's the pace that the movie sets for itself.
Okay, I see your point. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's like feeling like a model maker's gonna like he'll make a model at the start. Sounds a lot, logical. Well, okay, I have this
But
idea.
like I said, Dragon,
Yeah.
it's not even like he doesn't even realize why he's compelled by the shape to begin with. He doesn't know
Right.
what exactly is drawing him to it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So he kind of has to go through that process.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the moment I was thinking of with the kid. I jumped
really
ahead.
don't like
This is
either of these
Yeah,
kids.
he's wickedly annoying. I agree.
yeah, this. Yeah.
Like, I want to shave his head. That's what I want to do.
God, we're really harsh on this kid's
He
haircut.
just seriously, the one on the right really pisses me off for some reason. I can't tell you why. He just seems really just. He reminds me of one of those kids from F is for Family. Reminds me of one of the hillbilly kids from F is for Family.
Oh,
That's what
God.
it reminds me of.
Oh,
I think
God.
that's why I hate him.
Raiders right here.
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, this is where like the big musical thing starts to come in. Oh God, this is such a cool moment when it's coming up when they all point towards the sky. It's just like, yep, we're dealing with something out of this world here.
What are they saying exactly?
I believe it's supposed to be they're sort of like singing out the
Yeah, they're singing out the musical cues for the Williams song.
yeah.
Da 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 da. Well, yeah, it's the theme was.
Yeah. No, you're right, Dragon. I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and basically that's how we can interpret it later on to the big crowd. He puts in the hand symbol, the hand sign language, I guess. So,
Mhm.
like a musical conductor, kind of like whatever the hand movements are.
Whew. I don't know, Dragon. Like, I do kind of see your point with some of these scenes where I think all the Roy stuff is perfect. More or less, I think it has a perfect build to it, a perfect, momentum. I think some of this is a little, it drags on just a little bit. Now, this is a great shot. I love that shot, where they're all pointing to the sky.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great beat. I think you could have trimmed that scene in half. I don't know. It's like, and this is getting a little nitpicky here, but I don't think that scene needed to drag on as long as it did. I kind of wish that scene would have just been the pointing to the sky. I don't know. Am I making sense at all?
No, yeah, it didn't need to drag on. I
Kind
completely
of reminds me of the Claw a little
Agreed.
bit, though. The Claw. I was saying when they all pointed up simultaneously, it kind of gave me a little flashback. Oh, that's what that's from.
Yeah, I mean the government stuff, like I do think it fits well in terms of the narrative, right? Like in the pace of the film, I think it fits. I think it has its place. I think the problem with the government stuff is that it's just not as interesting as the Roy stuff. It's not as personal as the Roy stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. I honestly, well, it is actually the point where the storylines kind of intersect, the government and Roy. That's when I found, because the first watch just kind of had that realization, oh my God, an hour's passed, and we're still not, kind of to closing. We're not halfway through the second act, I guess. But basically, we get to a side after Roy's, he's trying to get to the Devil's Tower. That point onward, that's I basically when they're running away to the mountain. At that point on, that I see some major cuts could have been made there because that one drags on a little long. We'll get there. So I noticed more stuff in the second half instead of the first half. I think need to be trimmed. That might have accounted.
Really, because I kind of feel like when when he gets to to the mountain, that's when the movie for me really starts to pick up.
Well, not that. I'm saying like when he's like not when he just arrives there and he's interfering when he's with the government. I'm saying like when he's like after. Well, we'll get to it. I'll
Okay, fair
Trust
enough.
me, I got some stuff to say.
Alrighty. So yeah, I like how this film kind of explores the UFO culture.
Right.
I like how they're just like setting up, like board games and things like that, just waiting for these
This is their
things to come back.
I just want to say I love the globe gag. It was an added scene, by the way. They were like, Spielberg needed some more scenes, just kind of came up on the fly, and they had this idea of just really rolling this globe down, just kind of putting it up. It's just really funny, and it's giving it gives some nice character stuff for kind of our man of many traits with Lachlan.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's this about a globe now?
But I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit. But the giant globe that gets rolled.
Oh yes, the $2,500 globe.
Yes.
God, that tan line.
I know,
Right?
right?
Looks like Two-Face.
Oh, here comes a mountain.
Yep. And again, Dragon, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, even the kid is drawn to the shape. You know what I mean? He's drawn to make the shape.
Yes. Hey, remind me what your timestamp is again.
I'm at 42:50.
Me too.
Okay. We all on the same page?
Yes.
54, 55, 56.
All right. Just making sure. Yeah, and see how they're all into it. You know what I mean? They're all just like, oh. And that's again, I feel like this movie, Arrival takes a lot of cues from this movie in terms of like how the aliens are affecting the main character. I'm not going to talk too much about Arrival, of course, but
yeah, this is kind of the playbook for Arrival in the grand scheme.
definitely.
Here they come.
Oh, something I just want to hit on the John Williams score support. Forget about it. Of course, so with many John Williams scores, what this one has was that there's this wonderful build. So once the music is kind of going into its regular theme, it somehow, especially in the very end, of course, we build past, like when you think we've hit the ceiling on the score, like it bursts through the ceiling and it bursts through the clouds. It just keeps going up and up.
Right, totally.
And the UFO culture, again, is it's where the film started before the Watergate stuff happened. So
Mhm.
it's kind of neat to see it all come together.
And this is a dick move by the government, I think.
Yes, it is, and it's quite dangerous, to be honest.
It is, yeah. You
Of
know
course,
what
they're
it
trying to
reminds
cover
me
their
of?
tracks a little bit too by trying to like kind of cast some dispersions on what they thought they saw. So
Of
what it
course,
reminded
yeah.
me of?
Oh, it reminds me of the moment in Jurassic Park where Hammond lands his helicopter down right over the dig site.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is a little bit like I love how misleading the music is here too. When we
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like it's kind of like John Williams trolling us.
and there's that creepy Bigfoot guy again.
Yep.
Oh, we have a little bit. I could be stretching this, but it's a little bit of the way the flashlights are coming amongst the dust. It looks a little bit like kind of the ET trucks kind of pulling up in the forest.
Yeah, I can see that.
The government arrives there. It has like kind of a similar thing. Like the searchlights going and all this dust flying up.
Right. So I guess with this, now the government stuff is kind of starting to get leaked into Roy's story a little bit more. Like they're directly dealing with, with stuff going on, in Roy's story. So that's, it slowly ties itself together.
Right.
So Dragon, Simon had nothing to do with this music.
Well, again, I know Spielberg always listed Once Upon a Star as a thing. Amazing in the making of it, they never really mentioned Simon, so that might just be something we kind of retroactively kind of molded into it. But I could be wrong. I don't.
Because obviously, it calls to mind Simon and a lot.
That's the thing. It might have been the origin of Simon, though, because wasn't Simon in the 80s? Or was that the 70s?
I don't know.
If Simon was in the 80s, then this created Simon.
Right. Just the whole it sounds a lot like Simon.
Of course, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing. So this might have been the origin of Simon, quite possibly. If we get a date on that, then we'll know, I guess. But,
Who's Simon?
The game Simon. You hit the color when it pops up in the sound. You do. It's four color buttons: red, green, blue, and yellow.
Yeah, red, green, and yellow. Yeah.
I guess I just don't look that much into it.
Which, by the way, Simon is in the Guardians Galaxy Mission Breakout to gift shops. I encourage everyone to buy their Simon today. Simon says you want.
Will do. I'll go to the gift shop and buy Simon.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, that just sounds horrible. Okay,
What does?
go to the gift shop and buy Simon.
That's what he wanted me to do, though.
Well, what's wrong with the gift
Dragon,
shop?
it came out in 1978.
That was a year after this came out, so
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Okay, you really jumped ahead, Dragon, but here's the globe you were.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make sure I got it. Yeah, here's the globe gag. This is funny.
Wait, this is a gag?
Yeah, this is
It's just funny, like the lengths that they're going to. Like, somebody get me a globe.
and like one of them's griping, like, that's a really expensive globe. What are you doing? Because no one has it is kind of silly none of them have a map.
It's just kind of like a silly bit of like office humor in the middle of the sci-fi espionage. You know what I mean?
That's something we got to give Spielberg props for. He doesn't really. He doesn't show the government straightforwardly. He adds like a different. He shows them in a different light because we've had Keyes was a sympathetic government figure.
Sure.
And here, of course, Lacombe, he's also a very sympathetic version. We're seeing kind of some levity with the government, but we're still showing them as somewhat of an ominous, questionable force. Of course, E.T. shows them kind of like stormtroopers in many places.
Definitely.
And again, like this is cool too. Again, seeing Lacombe on the outside of this here, and him focused on the music while they're all focused on. No, the location's here.
Great transition to the xylophone.
Yes.
Again, this is what I'm talking about, the psychic element to the alien stuff. I think this film shows that off so well.
And speaking of just the editing, the Spielberg trade, of course, he loves working with Michael Kahn, and Michael Kahn worked with him here. This is either the first time he's worked with Michael Kahn or one of the early times he's worked with Michael Kahn as editor.
Uh-huh.
Really clever transition.
This goes without saying, but just man, every shot in this is just beautiful.
I know.
I love the close-ups. Like I know they had the close-ups of the xylophones and then the fingers on the globe. I love those things.
Close-ups are my favorite too. I really enjoy them more than really anything, I guess. I really enjoy the close-ups. It gives you more detail without having to give you more detail.
Exactly.
Something really cool is that I like how each person affected, or like who has visions from the close encounter, they have their own way of expressing, like kind of the image that's in their head. Like she draws it, and Roy, he sculpts it because he's a sculptor and he's a model builder. He's a builder.
Right.
Man,
And by the way,
I was just gonna say that farmland there. I used to live in a farm like that.
now the story behind the kid here, what he's doing, Spielberg, he basically had toys that he gift wrapped, and off screen, the way this kid's like looking all excited, he says toys, toys, is because he had a toy in a box, and the kid kind of got used to it. So when he unwrapped it, this is improvised. Toys. That's why he's saying that.
I thought it was a toy car.
It was a toy car. I'm saying they had various toys. I'm saying usually it was a toy car. I'm saying
Right, he pulled out a toy car, so it's toys.
But like he unwrapped it though, so he keep him. That's why he the
Right.
tongues out. And he's all super excited for it. He's like psyched out of his mind for it.
Right.
And now this is definitely more poltergeist, I think.
I love the effects. The effects they use for the sky and everything. It's
And this is the scene where
Dazzling.
the set got really, really hot.
Oh yeah, I could totally see
When
that.
they get on the inside here, when it really ramps up to the climax, that's when it's like the peak warmth.
Mhm.
And Spielberg, being kind of the sometimes jovial prankster that he is, especially because he had sisters and he liked to prank them. Again, I think it's just for the effort of the direction here, but at least the way the kid tells it growing up, it sounds like she didn't know a lot of the scares that were coming in the scene, but the kid knew. That's why the kid wasn't freaking out. So that's why
That's awesome.
that's why the kid. That's how Carrie, the actor Carrie, tells it all grown up. So he kind of recognized as a kid, like she doesn't know what's going on here. Of course, here's the money shot coming up. Well, we're on it right, like the keyhole.
Oh yeah.
wait. What timestamp are you at? I just passed the keyhole.
Yeah, I
Same.
just passed it too.
All right,
51:46.
yeah, that's a little
Yeah.
couple seconds behind. Sorry.
Oh, these commentaries. Oh god.
Well, it's not too bad. It's just a few seconds.
No, it's just like for Spielberg stuff, like it's kind of important to know to be on the same page with the important moments.
We on the fireplace?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm on the fireplace.
All right, we're all. I think we're
Okay.
fixed now. Yeah. Really intimidating. You're right. Very poltergeist stuff. Again, it's amazing that
Pull it,
Spielberg
pull
didn't
it.
direct poltergeist.
I feel like Spielberg had a big hand in Poltergeist, though.
He had to.
Like much more than his usual producing credits would imply.
There was a lot of production issues on that film, if I remember.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Spielberg ghost directed some of Poltergeist.
Sure. Okay, Ghost Ray.
Is someone singing?
I'm not intending that as
Yes, and
It's chances are.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Is that the movie or is that you, Gabby?
Both of us.
Oh,
Yes. The silly grin.
I know all the words.
that
She
close
does.
up of the screw coming out. I love
It's just
that.
like Spielberg can make the most mundane things intimidating.
Honestly, it's a little Stephen King-esque with like the screws and the small bits like that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, but just so I can, with Gabby's point, which I'm feeling her on, is that chances are it's such a perfect song choice because one, it's like chances are in terms of like chances are you never imagine you have like an alien encounter like this, or chances are every parent's worst nightmare, they never imagine this happening to their kid because of the scene where he'd stay, of course.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, perfect song choice. It's so creepy and at the same time, just so like it's like such a well constructed. This is such a well directed scene, and the best directed.
And it's
possibly-
Johnny Mathis, so this part always creeped me out.
Yes, it's the phone, and she has like the Simon-esque, the John Williams music. That's the most Simon-esque it sounds, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like sounds like the way they shot that, as if Simon wasn't.
So yeah, as I said, I mean, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but this shit is like straight out of Poltergeist.
Oh my gosh!
Like the lights, the stuff shaking around, it's all Poltergeist.
And basically the warm lighting here, that's when it was at its most, like the set was like
I
boiling.
can see that,
And they
yeah,
only did
yeah.
one. They kept this to a minimum. Now you look here, when the kid crawls through the doggy door, he's being grabbed by a pair of arms, and that's the kid's mother.
Oh, okay.
So that's like in the show, they're playing tug of war. That's the kid's mother. So the kid would get freaked out. And you know what's funny? She's on the trading card. They had a trade, film promotional trading cards, like screenshots. Screenshots on trading cards, and see, like the arm is like the doggy door shots that you can see the arm pulling the kid.
God.
Yeah.
That would kind of imply that like one of the humans that was previously abducted is now abducting him.
Yes. And I got to tell you, then here's one of the issues I got with the film. I still can't resolve. I really don't. There's no explanation to like what the aliens, what they're doing why they're abducting people.
I think the whole point of it is sharing knowledge. That's what I got out of it.
Say, why kidnap the kid then? The kid's not that knowledgeable. He's a 3.
Well, they want to compare the different types of
And also,
knowledge.
when I say sharing knowledge, I mean they want to share the knowledge with us.
So they're
Kids
sharing
learn
it.
fast.
So sharing it with this little kid. He's going to grow up to a different generation and tell people about it.
But he's small, and kids' brains, they're so complex, they pick up things like that. So
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're sending visions to her. You think they grab her instead of the kid.
what if they were trying to grab her and instead only grab the kid?
I think I'm saying they had a really successful.
Or as Ezra
Like a sloppy
suggested, what if it was kind of like like they wanted diversity, so they wanted a diverse group of age ranges.
That's fair, I guess. Again, this is one time with the kind of Spielberg's take on the government. I like how it's kind of like a friendly, kind of like they're laughing at themselves a little bit. Again, there's like this like a government. Again, you think you could trust for a moment of like it's like they're being a little light about. They're saying, "Hey, look, I'm not going to lie to you here. I'm not going to say we're conducting tests, but just know that what we're seeing isn't real."
Mm.
It's like lying. It's like lying in the most honest way possible.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, just Terry Garcia, she's just so uninterested in what's going on. She's like, okay, I'm just hoping this is all just like we're here. He's going to put his mind at ease and go home and just kind of live on our just kind of unsympathetic life.
Yep.
And here's definitely some Abrams-esque, kind of like the glares from the lights. In this
Oh
scene.
God, yes, right.
And I really like kind of the face of the government here. Again, Spielberg's going on this message of never trusting guys in fancy suits. Gabby, you're getting that song stuck in my head.
It's already stuck in mine, which is why I'm moving.
Chances are not.
It's better when Gabby does it. Sorry, Dragon. I'm just kidding.
So obviously the government's really good at playing mind games.
Uh-huh.
Haven't they always been in movies? I mean, well,
Right.
in real life.
Yeah, but just like the whole thing, as Roy points out, basically until Bigfoot kind of steps in here, he kind of basically plays in the government's hand, kind of crushes the whole meeting. Just as Roy's about to get some answers, or at least he's saying, "Hey, look, don't just try to placate us by agreeing with us here." Then Bigfoot and look at her, she gives a smile, like, "Yeah, okay, this meeting's over. I won." In a
I feel
way,
like in a lot of
she's kind of the bad guy of this movie when you think about it.
I feel like in a way, a lot of movies, the government is quote unquote the bad people. Like even in E.T., I mean,
Yeah.
the whole, astronaut dude, as they like to put him. He's Jason, like, I've been looking for him all my life. We don't want to hurt E.T., but let's hook him up into a bunch of crap.
Now, this is a brilliant idea here, just where the cosmic kidnapping, basically. One that shows the intensity of which he's having these visions. This to me was more effective than the match. That's just me, though. I see absolutely every point you made about it. I'm saying, like,
I do like the pencil breaking though.
the pencil breaking,
the intensity very well. Yeah.
that kind of foreshadows his break later on with the Looney Tunes. But you have that, and with the dirt and everything. And And also, I like that he's drawing it on the paper, which kind of expounds upon the fears of reporting a UFO thing. Because she said, she reported the UFO, and basically it's looking like she's crazy in the paper.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's like kind of communicating some of the fears. Like he's like, it's like in a way, he's not only is he like kind of writing the symbol on someone else who's been affected, but it's on someone else who is kind of in the same mindset as him, but no one's listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I love this idea of the, you see especially later on, but the idea of like the trucks and all the equipment kind of covered with like product placement. It's undercover, like the buses and like Baskin Robbins. And if we learn anything from Ant-Man, Baskin Robbins always finds out.
They always find out.
They always find out.
Wait, you're talking about Ant-Man and Baskin Robbins?
Yes.
Because there's a Baskin Robbins truck.
Well, no, there's a scene at Baskin Robbins and Ant-Man.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in this movie.
Oh, yeah, yes. Sorry, hence the Baskin Robbins correlation. Sorry.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
I'm jumping ahead a lot. I'm saying we're going to see it's kind of what they're preparing for.
I see.
You're talking about the guys in the truck. Nice. Now, this is such a creepy real world idea of the government kind of preparing the lie, just like they're almost like putting on a terror attack, also like false terrorism, and then they kind of realize no, nerve gas. There's an accident with nerve gas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's such an eerie real world idea. Of course, we saw Devil's Tower just kind of spelled out for us. There's like, again, more good foreshadows and payoffs, like the stuff we're going to see. Now, here we go. There's like all the product placement, like Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly. That's great. That's great.
Coca-Cola. The root
The
of all
Baskin Robbins.
commercials.
They always find out, Gabby.
Oh my god.
Always.
Ah, man, that pig. I always found that pig creepy.
Looks like Porky Pig from the 40s.
It
Yes.
looks like a rip-off Porky Pig.
Here we go.
And here we go. Here we
And
go.
she came. The youngest came up with the dead fly line, which I never was crazy about, but I recognized the cuteness and the inventiveness of like on the fly.
They
And
actually.
also, I would not want to eat mashed potatoes that have a dead fly in
That's
it.
what I'm saying, man. I'm on the side of that kid at the same time. Don't put
That wasn't scripted.
Yeah, it wasn't scripted. That's the thing.
So they were trying so hard not to laugh
Yeah.
and keep it together. Well, there's a dead fly in my. It's like, aw, I'm sorry.
So I don't know what I really like about this scene is just as like we've been building up to the sculpting, and this is just kind of like where the sculpting kind of takes on a new dimension, and where it's like, okay, like this has been going on in his head, and now it's not just in his head, like it's staring the family right in the face.
I wonder if they kept the really weird acting choice in the scene from theatrical here. Let's see if it's on the kid that ticks me off. There, we'll see him coming up.
Honestly, those potatoes look really good.
They do.
Every time I've seen this,
Yeah.
it just looks amazing. Like, I want mashed potatoes.
Gabby, you are unequivocally correct in that matter.
It's like those are like stereotypical mashed potatoes. I love how the wife here is just Ronnie. She's
Just looking at him like, what is wrong with you?
what are you doing?
I think they got rid of the weird acting choice. Let's see. When he looks around, it's supposed to happen. I don't see them. They're not cutting to the. Oh, look, it should be here. It's the kid cries. If he cries, that's from. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah. It's just honestly, I think this is the reaction they should have in the scene later on. But I think they're having a little early. Where it's like, yeah, he's a little weird. He's kind of carving the mashed potatoes, but I think the obsession gets really bad, and that's when we should be having this kind of this breakdown. Like, the kid's crying over mashed potatoes right now. It's not really. It's not. I'm not that crazy, right? It's not that upsetting. It's like.
I do think it is legitimately like he is watching his father have a mental breakdown.
Yeah,
right
I was
in front
about to
of him.
say, he's literally watching his dad just have a breakdown.
Yeah.
Affecting the whole family. So he's basically just like into pieces. He doesn't know what's going on and what's going to happen to his dad.
I see what you're saying, but again, the breakdown really hasn't happened yet. That's my issue with it. He
No,
hasn't
I
done anything
think
You're
disruptive
part
yet.
of it, but I think it's slowly cracking.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think watching.
As I said,
I
I think this scene is so effective because this is the first time that that his mental stuff is starting to affect the family on a
yeah, I mean,
on
it's
a
not
personal
like,
level.
It's
Yeah,
not
I mean, let's-
huge yet, but
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
let's
it's
make it
like
clear.
slowly-
Dreyfus is acting fantastic. I'm sorry, Gabby.
No, you're fine. See, and the music
Dreyfus
just goes
is-
so well with it.
It
It
does.
really does. Yeah.
And Dreyfus is just, again, I love the way he just kind of gets broken in those scenes. I mean, he's acting the crap out of this movie.
hmm
And here's that skull. I just love how angrily he's sculpting, because again, it's like, this to me is like that. This is the mashed potato thing that I think is coming across in this scene. That's where it's really grabbed me. It's just this whole, it's just, again, he's haunted by this scene, just carving in there. He's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why are you haunting me? It's coming across in this scene so powerfully.
No, it
Let's
is.
see
It
now.
is. It's really good.
And again, I just love him really going out here screaming, "What is it?" And again, this like all the frustration he's from. This, yeah, all that this is where the break. We see the boiling point before the breakdown in the scene.
If anyone's watched Lost, this is very much reminds me of the John Locke character in Lost, which is the only reason I bring it up is J.J. Abrams, who's kind of a prodigy of Spielberg.
Here's well, no,
Don't compare J.J. Abrams to Spielberg.
I'm not comparing J.J. Abrams. I'm saying he's a prodigy of Spielberg.
Yeah, I think this is the added. Okay, I think they added this scene. This is from the special edition. I'm pretty sure this is it. Because the shower's going on, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. Right. And he's just like in his own headspace. It's like he is just not okay.
Okay, let's see how sympathetic.
Isn't he
she
in
is.
the actual shower with his clothes on?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I thought so.
He's like having a Samurai Jack vision right now.
Yes. So let's see how upset she's, because in the special
I
edition,
thought she
she's
breaks the door open, I thought.
She,
yeah, that's a,
I think she pries the door open. I
Yeah,
don't think she
something
breaks
like-
it.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, it's something
She
like
picks it. Yeah, she picks it.
because I
Yeah.
remember she was
right
really
here.
unlikable in the special edition, where she's really kind of like, it's a really dark moment. So let's see if they keep that in here.
See, now I find it a little bit different in the sense of I don't think she's so unlikable. I think she's honestly just going crazy with him because it's like, bro, what happened to you? What are you doing? So, I mean, she is unlikable in some ways, but in other ways, you can kind of understand why she's being this way.
Well, I mean, that is kind of like the Skylar White dilemma, right? Like, I hate to use Skylar White as the comparison to this character, but, you know, like Skylar White, it was very much like she was understandable with why she didn't like what Walt was doing, but at the same time, I don't know, I do think she's being a little harsh here.
Oh, yeah, she's being harsh, but at the same
Muffin
time.
top kid.
Come
Stop
on, you
Stop
guys.
yelling at your kid. Oh my
This-
gosh.
Wow, this is. I'm glad this isn't the theatrical version. I was getting kind of this.
Is it just me or does the mom here look like Elliot's mom from E.T.?
I don't see.
Kinda. Like her face, not her.
I think it's
her.
just you.
I think it's your addiction to E ET.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I kind of see the point of you again. Like, yeah, she is. I think you understand for the most part where she's coming from. Like, you know, again, mainly in the scene coming up where he's digging everything up. You understand, like, he is a danger to himself and others in that moment. You understand why she's leaving. I just wish she was a little bit more like her and Al a little bit more earlier on. And this scene, however, is again his first time really kind of you've seen this in context of everything else. It's
Well, think about
this
she's
scene is making.
she's dealing with a lot right now. Not to mention his slow spiral into what she thinks is insanity. So
Yeah, I
she's everything piled up. She's just taking it out there. Then
Yeah, it just seems. I don't know. It's. I mean, yes, it seems a little bit just with not just her as the family and everything in that scene. It seems really again. It's piling onto the more like the some unlikability on the family. Like, man, it doesn't seem like a happy family. It doesn't seem like a Hallmark moment.
No, it is not a Hallmark moment.
That's what I'm saying. It just seems like, oh yeah. I mean, again, it's like kind of it's getting you on the side of like, again, he does something really unthinkable in the modern context. Like, you should never leave his family like that. But of course, I kind of get why. It's
can you define a Hallmark moment? Because you use that a lot.
Yes, Dragon, define a Hallmark
I
moment.
guess
What do you think from another view? Just quoting Porky Pig there. Oh, I love this
I
cartoon.
guess, yeah. Sure.
Duck Dodgers. It's great.
Now I love this use in the use of this movie. I love it because Dreyfus. If Dreyfus is any Looney Tune, he is absolutely Daffy Duck.
And of course, Marvin the Martian is great symbolically as
Oh,
well.
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
yes, but if he's any Looney Tune, just knowing Dreyfus in a style of comedy, especially just when he goes off the engineer, is absolutely Daffy Duck at wit's end the way he plays this next scene.
Mhm.
No, he's
Here's the
gathering
mission
the papers up now to make the thing.
There's that little Pinocchio reference.
Yeah.
Also,
Hey, the Enterprise.
It's
yeah, the Enterprise. Yeah.
It's a good
um,
one.
Dragon, define Hallmark.
All right. Well, I guess if trying this kind of a simple way, kind of like a Full House ending, almost, just kind of like everything. It's sort of like it's sort of like something that has like a happy end. Sort of like they have their moments, and just kind of it boils to this sort of. It's hard to describe. It's like not a like a shouting, not sort of like a realistic thing. It's kind of like an idealistic, like, hey, it's going to be okay, and we're here for you. Like then cue the music. Da, 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 da.
Right.
That's sort of, I guess, like a home, like something you put like on a card, saying, "Oh, ain't that the cutest representation of family you ever did see?" I guess.
Is that you
got
get
it.
that?
Got it.
All right.
Now again, Dreyfus is. It sounds. I know it sounds like a broken record, but Dreyfus is not only fantastic, but he's so great in this scene where he's.
I mean, yeah, I think we can all acknowledge Richard Dreyfuss just in general in this
Yeah.
movie. Fantastic performance, absolutely.
To be specific, I guess it's that he's not only is he. It's funny, and again, it's kind of Looney Tunes, kind of Daffy Duck-esque funny, but at the same time, it's a dark reality applied to it too. Is that, and again, this is where you kind of you build some sympathy for Ronnie here, where she's just like she's seeing her husband do this in broad daylight.
Well, I mean, yeah, this very much is the breaking point for sure. I mean, this is where it's like there's no coming back from this.
And again, I think I like it better than the really dark version. Just she leaves after the shower that we just saw. That's originally she's left based on that, and this I think gives her more credence for leaving.
Oh yeah,
Why
I think
does he have
this is
to
a lot
break
more
the windows?
Yeah, he's so it's like almost like I think he just has to get the dirt inside the house as soon as possible. I realize I can just like take the wheelbarrow in through the front door, maybe.
interesting.
I will say this: I do like the young kid in this scene though. We're just saying, "Hey, can you
Help
get
it out.
me next?"
Like,
Yeah,
I get why he,
It's just totally into it.
I know he's trying to like build his thingamajig, but why can't he like do it orderly and get like a box and put the plants in a box?
Well, I
and not
think
look like-
because at this point the whole it's just like it's overtaking him. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I
just-
was about to say he's going crazy. It's like
Yeah.
he has so many thoughts in his mind
He's having
at one
a
time.
nervous
so-
breakdown almost.
I love when he just chucks him in the window.
And again, it's darkly hilarious. Now, I rewatching, I think I kind of hit upon a message of this scene, just fitting with the Spielberg kind of thing, the tropes we know with Spielberg is that
Look at that.
the kid just chucks the left side.
I know, he just
Like,
throws
the
it
kid,
in
this is what, like the one time the kids are grabbing me in this movie. Anyway, let's see, what was the a message, a kind of a Spielberg trope that you really, I think, is kind of the undercurrent of this scene is that. It might be a message of divorce here, because of course Spielberg being the product of divorce.
Oh, it is very
a
much.
lot of
Yeah,
times,
it is very much a divorce thing for sure.
this seems like kind of the ugly side of divorce, where mom and dad, they kind of like basically she takes the kids and leaves, and kind of leaves father there. And of course, you love father, but at the same time, there's a reason for the divorce in the first place. And it's just like son, it's like it's a painfully sad, yet again, it's a little bit of hilarity here and there, because slice of life hilarity.
Sure.
And it seems like again, it's kind of like the trauma of divorce a little bit in the scene, maybe.
I mean, every kid who's been through divorce remembers that one big blow up moment that kind of
Oh,
was
yeah.
the end of things. Yeah.
I love this where he's actually offering to pay for it, but she just thinks it's so terrible. It's like,
It's just like, get away.
just, no, she doesn't want to take. Oh yeah,
a hair dryer. Yeah, sure. You're gonna threaten me with a hair dryer.
I dare you to pull the trigger. Or it could just say, blow me, ladies. Either way, same
Oh
thing.
God.
He's just looking at him with such a disappointment. Like, what are
Yep.
you doing?
I have no father.
If he was my son, I wouldn't want to have any son. Just saying.
Oh God.
Where are we
Yep.
going? The little girl's just waving.
She didn't forget a kid, did she? 1, 2, 3. I thought there was a fourth. Here's the thing. I think it might have been. I don't know if it was a kid of a friend. I could have sworn that shaving cream. When they hit him with the paddle and stuff. There wasn't there.
I think the kid has a friend. Yeah.
Okay,
the oldest son has a friend.
So everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you forgot a kid! There's a missing kid in this house." No. Yeah, it must be a friend.
You're crazy. You're not even dressed. I'm crazy.
And here, and I guess the
And
last
this
thing I
is
really
a very Breaking Bad-esque scene for me in a lot of ways. We keep making the Skylar White comparison, but this very much reminds me of Ozymandias Dragon.
yes, especially with kind of a similar type of car, and of course,
Well, that's what I'm
very
saying.
similar
Yeah, and pulling out of the driveway very intensely.
nosy neighbors.
Running over the kid's bike.
To be honest, though,
Sure.
I mean, if it were me, I would have so got in the car with my kids too. Like, dude,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
having
would you
to
have-
break down,
I definitely
and I
think
need to get away from you.
But to be
I
fair, would you have
definitely think
driven
this-
with him like in front of the car while he was
No,
on the
of
car?
course not. But at the same time, I would have driven faster so he wouldn't even get on the car.
Sure.
There would have been no chance for him to jump on the car. Be like, bye, bitch.
I would like to highlight one thing. I just like is we don't really have much occasion to talk about the family, I guess, going forward. But I think just that boils into the issue between Ronnie and Roy, why they might not be the best pair again. Why even if this didn't happen, they might be on the precipice. It was an unhappy marriage. They're probably on the precipice of divorce in the future. Anyways, because he was as we see in a scene later on, he's calling her. He's making an effort to fix things, and again, he does regret this. He wants to keep the family together, but she's not really hearing him out on these things. She's not. Oh, the only thing she said, I guess, in support of it was like, "Hey, you don't have proof.
Right.
Wait till you have proof." I guess that was like the only helpful thing she really said. Is they never got on the same page with each other. Like he put the effort in, she did. She just again, she got out of there, but maybe she wouldn't have to get to the nuclear option if she heard him out a little bit.
This is such a good reveal of the model.
Oh yeah, this thing looks so great. I was wondering what this is going to look like when he was like throwing it.
He looks horrible, and the only thing I can think of is why the hell didn't he just go through the front door? Why did he jump through the kitchen window? Just seriously, I mean,
Well, two things.
Okay, this is a great shot with the reveal of the mountain right there.
Yes, and this shot is one of those great like stills that kind of boils down what the movie is. Just this man he's like this nice guy who just he builds this monument to his insanity, and while it's like in reality it also exists. That's kind of like that's that great kind of trio of a shot almost.
Sure.
This man is just losing focus on what his world is, like losing every grasp on reality. But well, again, he's vindicated for it as well with the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just little fun fact: when they were building this, kind of funny. You mentioned why go through the window and all that stuff. When they constructed this, they made it too big. They realized they couldn't get inside the house, so what they had to do is they had to cut it up in pieces and then put it back together on the inside because they built it in full scale before they were on the inside. Yeah. So again, he's making the effort. He's calling. He's trying to say, "I'll do anything."
Yeah. But I think this is kind of like the last ditch effort at this point. From this point out, he's sort of a changed guy. You know what I mean? He's a guy he goes from a guy who doesn't have a purpose right here. He's just sort of lost in his own world into, obviously with what comes up at the TV, like that purpose is very much driven into him, which leads into the third act.
It's the whole new motivation. He found this motivation.
Exactly.
He's cut his earthly ties in a way.
Sure. Because the rest of the movie has been him sort of like struggling to know what to do about the about the experience he's having and struggling to keep his family together. But his family leaving is what kind of made him, sort of make that journey. Like right there with the mountain. It's like, okay,
Yes.
look at the TV.
I know, right?
Watching this for the first time, I remember watching that, and I was just getting so frustrated. I was like, "Will you just look at the damn TV already, please?" I was like just waiting and waiting. So finally, when he, got to it, I'm like, "Finally, thank you."
Oh, there was going to be a whole thing where she left to go to her parents, and she was going to use her actual parents, and they're going to put them in the movie. And basically, the idea is she went to her parents to kind of decompress and figure out where the kid is, and that's where she's at right now. But the parents, I guess, declined to to shoot the scene. So basically, they're kind of upper rivers. So that's why she's randomly you don't know it's a different place. It's just it's
Okay, that's a really wow. That's an amazing model.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this dude tore up everyone's freaking yards just to make this shit.
Right.
If I did that, I'd keep this thing on lockdown in a basement somewhere safe.
Road trip.
And this is where the John Williams music really starts to.
I was
amp
just about
up.
to say it's
Yeah,
the music.
right.
I literally started to say the music. Is
It's like,
getting more
okay, here we go.
intense.
We're on an adventure now.
Again, it's kind of our adventurous voyage music from Jaws, but for this movie.
But I think it's done. As I said, I think this music is more kind of in the classic Williams style than the Jaws music.
Yeah.
It's sort of like getting more to that sort of the very, very symphonic,
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go on.
No, that's a great beat. It's just and I love the mystery again. I think this film really does have a fantastic pace to it. It's as we get to this new location, we're just what the hell is going on? All these cars are driving in the opposite direction. This is madness. This film just has such a great way of, playing out the story.
We're slowly entering the point where I've had problems with the movie. So here's something here. No evacuation would go this way. Listen, they're all sitting on top of the train. This is completely reckless. This is ridiculous. This is there's no evacuation.
It's pretty clear that it's a last minute evacuation, and it's
this is completely impractical. No one's even in line or anything. It's all chaos. They don't know what they're doing.
Dragon. I think you're. I don't know. What do you guys think?
This is a nitpick in the grand. I'm just saying this is where it starts. I'm still getting
it's a
some
nitpick.
into the thing.
I think there's a lot being said here that doesn't really need to be said. I think it just kind of speaks for itself.
Well,
I mean,
you know what this scene reminds me of
it's
in terms of other Spielberg is it very much reminds me of War of the Worlds.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Because War of the Worlds has that. It also has that same sort of desperate, humanity clinging to whatever hope it can get,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and the big mobs of people and everything.
Of course, what we're saying here with Jillian is that these two, when they embrace each other here, it's kind of a telegraph. And these two actually, it's kind of the dad finds someone else after the divorce sort of thing. It's he actually belonged with someone else, and he's with the wrong person in life.
Sure. It's a good moment.
Yeah,
I think that kind of leads us into the third act right there.
yeah, it's fair. I mean, these two paired up is really kind of the beginning of the third.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Let's see. Oh no, I think they cut it out. Yeah, it's in the theatrical cut. There, I think they got rid of Combat Carl.
What?
Combat Carl. Tiki, did you ever in the theatrical Combat Carl's in the theatrical cut? Carl Weathers as an army man, dressed as an army man.
Okay, I thought you meant an actual Combat Carl toy.
No. Did I mean Carl Weathers as Combat Carl as you're going to get him?
Oh God.
Was in the theatrical cut. Oh my God! Because when he walked into town just now in the evacuation, he got basically the supplies for this. He got the gas mask and the pet here, the pit with the little cage, and then he bumped into her. So they got rid of it. Oh. It's a fun little cameo.
However, having said that, I just think that it just drives so well into the scene of the car and everything, and just speeding along down the road. It's got such a momentum to it. You know what I mean?
Here's that vindication moment for both of them.
Oh yeah.
They both kind of stop and they get out, and they kind of see vindication. Sweet,
It's kind of like the
vindication.
experience of the experience I will have next year when I see Cinderella's castle in person for the first time at Disney World. It's just look. I'll have that look on my face right there. I'll be like,
be a Williams-esque.
yeah, it will be, man. I'm telling you, that moment is going to be exactly like that. Oh, and also, this moment is very much reminiscent of the Brontosaurus from Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, it is. It really is.
I mean, I'm saying just the filming, the facial reaction of the car and everything. Oh, so cool. So cool.
This is just talking about Devil's Tower for a moment. This is a great location. It's just a great kind of iconic kind of symbol, like kind of.
Now that's an actual place, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
I forget if they build models of it for certain shots later on. Wouldn't be surprised. But
Why
yeah,
are
it's
you
like an
putting your
actual
hands
existing
down?
location.
That's always bothered me too, Gabby. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's very. I get a tetanus shot after that.
No, it's like barbed wire.
Well, she does it twice, which is really a
I
bad
know.
idea.
Look at her. She's just like, let me hold on to this.
Once it's an accident. Once, like, okay, maybe I see like there's no barb on this part, but like, come on, twice. And of course, I like that there's an explanation. I forget if it made it in here. I assume it did, but
It did.
No, I think it did.
yeah, basically the explanation is that they're trying to I guess in case they're onlookers, but regardless, they're kind of using the sleeping gas on the livestock.
Which is God, it's so dark.
It is. And of course, sleeping being the operative word. Not
Yeah,
killing.
but still, just the imagery of it, though.
Yes, you're right. That is. Of course, there's that a little bit of that ominous, like, how far did the government go? Did they actually employ a little bit of nerve gas?
Right.
It kind of makes you wonder until you get that little line explaining it, just to verify it. Like, you're right. This also is a little bit of Jurassic Park. You're just kind of the dinosaur on its side.
Sure. I love the build to the pigeons, or I'm sorry, whatever bird it is, the doves, I think.
I think pigeon might be.
It could
But
be.
yeah, it's bird of some variety.
It's the government! Run, E.T., run!
Yeah, this is where we get kind of the origin of Spielberg's kind of stormtrooper look on the.
Yes.
on
It's like
the
his
government that
obsession with the sketchy government people, right?
And of course, it's a clever way of kind of taking the humanity out of the government by kind of obscuring them as much as you can. So only like a little face hole in this case, even less in ET. Because you have the lighting and the obscuring stuff there. I like that the Devil's Tower is in the background in this scene throughout.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the background through pretty much the majority of the whole third act,
Well,
which is
yeah.
just, it makes for such a cool set piece.
This is such a cool choice of kind of separating them like this. Just like, you're really taking off your game, like, okay, now what's going on here?
And I believe this is where our two plots meet, right?
Yes. This is where we finally kind of co-align here. Now, I honestly get into, well, it's more after the scene, so I'll save it for after the scene. But this is a really good scene here between these two. It's like finally kind of that who are you people build get here. With the skepticism that your general audience would have to, like, Lacombe being in charge, because again, doesn't even speak English. Again, kind of Roy's kind of expositing that.
Right.
It's like, I want to speak to the guys in charge here. There's again, there's more Dreyfus Gold here. We've hit Dreyfus Gold.
Yep.
Doesn't mean calling them on. There's nothing wrong with the air, is there? It's like your great conspiracy, like calling Watergate out almost.
We've come a long way with both these characters, or I should say the pair of characters, but with both these sets of people, we've come a long way, like throughout the film, like they've kind of they kind of approach from two different points of view, and then they're meeting in the middle to a certain extent.
It just kind of occurs to me how many great movies we've gotten because of Watergate.
Oh, God.
I would say it's true. Yeah, we got some really fantastic movies because of Watergate. Here's Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I was about to say, Greg, and I was about to call you out.
We got Winter Soldier. We got Close Encounters. We have Nixon. We got a good repertoire of movies, very much reliant on Watergate. Sorry, okay, attraction.
All right. Oh, God.
I got one like it in my living room. There's a great, just had a context.
Yeah, right.
Of course, the fact I gotta wonder if they think he actually has like just a picture of his living room. Actually, has a model of it. Have you recently had a close average?
There's the title. They said the title. Oh my God!
Now this is gonna be a really dumb pull here, but I gotta wonder if just based on how iconic this moment is, just the whole "Who are you people?" I gotta wonder if we get that SpongeBob gag from this. Patrick just randomly saying a lot in the early scenes.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it.
Who are you people?
I wouldn't put it past SpongeBob to do that.
Back in the good old days.
Oh god, I've heard SpongeBob's gotten a little better.
No, that's
Ish.
so much for that pipe dream.
Do you watch it, Gabby?
I mean, I used to.
Well, you used to.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Okay, I've seen some of SpongeBob now. I haven't seen full episodes, but the whole deal with it is just, I don't know. It's kind of heartbreaking.
All right, well, let's not talk about SpongeBob.
I like I like how the shots composed because we have our two kind of these guys are some very connected characters, and with Roy in the middle, just kind of saying that he's coming into the fold in some way.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, my gripe with the movie is that he should honestly after this scene he should be in the fold. And honestly, I don't get why if all these they do spend time talking about it. So I gotta give them that. We have the general coming up. I'm sorry, fantastic acting. We have this. Honestly, this scene on where we see not that that Roy and Jillian, and like the rest, like the various witnesses of the the photograph people that were just kind of laid out there. They're all there. I mean, if they're already on the base, and again, as Lacombe's trying to make the argument for it, I mean, they were compelled to come here. They were invited. We're just here to kind of see what happens. We should just let them. He's making a case to let him stay. I don't get why this. Again, he has say in the operation anyway. Isn't just.
I'm guessing it's just like government safety protocols.
Well, no, it's the one guy. Assuming he had to make it. He's kind of a big plot point where he says, no, they were just like, what if they're just kind of UFO? Basically, what if they're pure like kind of UFO conspiracy nuts who just kind of came here to compromise the whole operation? What if their plans to compromise the whole operation?
Well, I mean, I see what you're saying, Dragon, but at the same time, that does kind of add to like it's a conspiracy within another conspiracy.
But you do see my point though, because if basically it seems like it's a lot of
point. It just doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you.
It's like a contrivance to get us all the mountain climbing stuff, which I mean, it's cool. That's when the movie goes on long for me. Really, it's like, yeah, we're climbing up this mountain an awfully long time and avoiding kind of being sleeping gassed.
I don't know, guys. What do you, Ezra or Gabby, you want to weigh in on this? Because I'm kind of like I don't necessarily agree with Dragon here. Break the tie, God damn it!
Right here. Here's the scene. So this guy right here.
I don't think I don't think there's any gas in the what stuff.
What? No, it's this.
Wait, what did you just say?
What?
You guys are talking about sleeping gas, right? And the gas in the air.
Technically, yes, but
we're talking about the pace of the film.
Oh.
I was about to say.
I don't know.
Just bring that up.
I mean, the point is, this general guy here saying, "Hey, let's not let these vision seeing the guys who got there on their own, like Roy."
I think the pace of the film is fine. I mean,
you don't think any of this mountain climbing climax is necessary? Like, you think?
I like the mountain climbing. I think it adds to like.
I like it. I mean. Just to
really...
be blunt with you, I think it adds to it because they're going to the extent of trying to climb up, and these, the government is like, all right, we're going to go to the length of, trying to make these people, almost die so they don't figure out what the hell's going on. I think it adds to it. It makes it more dramatic.
Yeah, I agree. And there's also definitely some shots, maybe just Dragon, this might be a style over substance thing. But I just think there's a lot of shots. Specifically, I love the shot coming up. I mean, it's close to the end of the film, but when the mothership lands down, like Jillian is not ready to go down there, but then the mothership like flies right over her. Like that kind of stuff with them being on the mountain, I think works really well.
Right.
The first time around watching the film, I was just kind of like, it's pretty slow, but there were certain things that just kept me involved with it. On a rewatch, I've been paying a lot more attention to just the way everything is angled and the way different meanings and things like that within the camera work and acting. So I mean the pacing, I don't have a huge problem with the pacing. I think there's certain places where it could go faster.
I mean, I definitely don't think it's the best paced Spielberg movie. Dragon, it's not Lincoln.
Well, true. I mean, that's kind of honestly, let's say that's probably the worst case of pacing in Spielberg's career. Lincoln, come on. That movie that goes on forever.
I don't have as big of a problem with Lincoln, but I definitely see your point about Lincoln. But
I mean, compared to Lincoln, it's a cakewalk
compared to Lincoln, this is fucking Jurassic Park.
Yes.
And I say that because Jurassic Park is like the master class in pacing.
It is. It is.
I really, honestly, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It is.
Really, I mean,
Me too. Of all time.
Yeah, and I guess I'm just gonna love the look of Truffaut. Again, the subtleties of Truffaut without words of dialogue. Honestly, that's where I'm really digging Truffaut's performance. You just kind of gives a look and you see, like, again, he's rooting for these guys, and I'm saying if he's rooting for them, why not just like let him in on the fold without going through all these unnecessary shenanigans? That's what I'm coming out.
Because he's not authorized to. Because there's people above him.
Again, that's saying he's like they keeps asking for the man in charge. I get they're probably not telling him that, but I'm saying he's the only guy who knows what's going on with these aliens. So he's
Dragon. Let it go. It's okay. It's okay. Enjoy the movie, Dragon. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to I don't mean to sound all anyways. No, I mean I don't know, Dre. Like, I'm trying to see your point of view. I just I don't really, it's just it works fine to me. I'm sorry. Now I feel like a jerk.
Tiki, don't feel too bad, please.
I don't think you said anything really bad. You just said enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I know, but I was kind of putting his point down.
I don't think Dragon. Are you upset?
No.
See, I sense hesitation in his voice.
The way he said that. Okay.
Yeah.
I really like this. I really like this scene. Like you're looking at the two guys, and then all of a sudden you see these freaking military dudes go by. See, I actually like them climbing up. It adds to it.
I like the fact that they're. Yeah, I like it adds to the atmosphere, if anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. Like, at first we just got the vague shape of the mountain, right? Then we got the reveal of what the mountain actually is. And then they get to the mountain, and finally they are on the mountain. I mean, that to me, that's just a great pace to it. Like that. That's just a great. Yeah.
I like this movie.
I get the charm of it. That it's the sort of they're climbing their obsession. I just think it goes on really long.
Look at those bell bottoms. Wow.
Well, it was 77.
Right.
Trust me, I was thinking the same thing. Even the freaking, FBI guys and all the police.
Something else that's kind of cool is the fact that just the what the crap was it? Oh right, yeah, that the government is kind of basically they're more threats. They're more of a threat than the alien. That's kind of what they're communicating in the scene. They're more threats than what they may perceive the aliens to be.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically, these guys are armed with I want to say sleeping gas, hence the big kind of thing on top.
Oh, the big cannon things. Yeah.
I really want to climb this mountain. I really want to climb this mountain.
I know, right? It's so photogenic.
It really is. I mean, but it's also it's really green. I really love how it's such a green atmosphere, and then you have this big block of brown in the back.
We need more flat mountains.
I live.
Kind of reminds me of
I'm
Mount
tired of
Kilimanjaro in that way.
Does it?
Just the flat mountaintop is kind of.
Right.
I have a really dumb question about Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
Is it actually is it kind of like a pun on Kill a Man, or is there actually a guy named Killaman?
I assume it's some sort of African name. I assume it's part of the African language. I don't know.
Honestly,
I've actually heard some doctors named Keller. There is some doctors named Kellerman or something. You never go to a doctor named Killerman, would you?
When you say Kilimanjaro, it just makes me think of
Kilimanjaro safaris.
Exactly. It just makes me think of this.
And then there is a big mountain in Epcot, but it isn't Kilimanjaro.
Killerman's the worst name for a doctor. You wouldn't see a guy named Killaman, would you?
What would you do for a Klondike bar? Would you kill a man?
Name Amanda Dick. I felt horrible for him.
I think I heard about this.
Girl. Oh.
I felt horrible for her. I'm like, if anyone could have a really bad name, it'd be her.
Wasn't she a doctor?
No, she was my teacher.
Oh, okay.
God.
My English teacher. Her name was Amanda Dick.
Miss
Oh.
Dick.
Yeah, her name was Mrs. Dick. What?
Oh God. Oh, that's
So
that's,
she-
that's terrible.
It was-
Oh,
Especially with Amanda broken down, but let's listen.
Amanda. Oh
Yeah.
God.
So I really felt horrible. So she actually had us all call her Amanda, just Mrs. Amanda. That was it.
That's good.
She was like, not getting into it. I'm like, okay.
And here's your substitute teacher, Andy Dick. TV's Andy Dick.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
Okay, so Spielberg.
And not,
Yes, so
Yeah,
knocked
Not
out
Andy
pigeons.
Dick.
That is
Let's not drive Andy Dick into the Spielberg podcast. We're talking about Spielberg, the greatest filmmaker of all time, Spielberg.
yes, the modern day Hitchcock.
If I was on this mountain and I saw that, that would freak me out.
what?
Yeah, that pigeon
Just-
thing is really creepy.
Just watching them just blow out all of it, whatever this gas is, just
Mhm.
and you're on a freaking mountain. I mean,
Did that guy just die?
at any point.
No, he's asleep, but he's gonna have like a massive headache.
Oh.
But
Sorry,
of
Gabby,
course,
go
You're
this is,
on a
this is
mountain though,
definitely-
so what if you fall? I mean, that's it for you. I
With the
wouldn't
spreading
trust it.
with the spreading of this stuff, it's definitely some Vietnam imagery right there. With the Agent Orange, it's definitely.
Especially with all the helicopters, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Dragon, do you know if I'm sure it'd probably be an obscure pool, but Francis Ford Coppola maybe took some inspiration from this
Well,
scene. I don't know.
Of course, let's not forget Spielberg for Coppola.
Well, that's the only reason I say, yeah, because Spielberg and Coppola and Lucas were good buddies, and John Lee Hancock needs to make a movie about that.
Oh yes, we get John Goodman in the movie to play John Milius.
Oh God. Anyways,
Seriously, for the folks out there, John Milius looks exactly like John Goodman. Check it out. So, let's see.
John
Coming
Rhys
up.
Davis for Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh man, that'd be cool.
Okay. Anyways,
Probably wouldn't be right, but it'd be cool.
anyways,
But he could pull it off, though, John Rhys
I
Davis.
think he can pull it off. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so we're gonna see when we see the base, especially the base, but a lot of these scenes too. But it's like honestly, this stuff probably isn't the. A lot of these like shots, like right now when they're overlooking the base, this isn't the actual mountain. It's just kind of a mock-up of the mountain.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the blend of model and the actual location shooting. I think it fits together really well.
And speaking of model,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sam.
Go ahead.
So,
No,
speaking
no,
of,
go.
go.
Does this remind anyone else of the last scene in Raiders?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That on the mountain reminds me exactly of Raiders. Yes.
The
Uh-huh.
army, these two people up on the cliff looking down
Yeah.
at everyone.
Yeah. I'm saying I had the exact same thing. Glad you brought it up.
As I said, folks, as we're going through this movie, I definitely think that this is definitely visually a template for a lot of Spielberg stuff to come. That's why this movie is such a fascinating artifact for me.
Oh yeah. So this shot, this base here, started off as a model, like a huge model, like of a giant location they wanted. So what they did was, they just the appeal of this being such a giant kind of space, because of course it's going to be where the big landing is going to be.
Right.
The ship is going to land. And what they did is, so this is an indoor location, because if they did outdoor, it'd be too much, kind of worry about rain and stuff happening. So what they do is they have like a giant indoor location with like a giant tarp over it. And what happened was, like, sometimes there was this really notable thing where a thunderstorm, or like I think it was if lightning struck it, that's what happened. But the point was, like, there was a hole that started to form in the tarp, and everything went haywire. So just imagine like this some of these mountain shots, as well as just like that entire base, just like with like a tarp over there, just kind of has a hole in it, just like wind and all sorts of crap is blowing everything around.
Since we're getting to
Oh.
the end of the movie,
It's a long ways till the end, believe me.
well, it's close. I mean, mine says we have 34 minutes left.
Meteor shower. I'm sorry, you gotta be going. Yes.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Steven Spielberg was talking about how there was nothing more difficult in his life than editing the last 25 minutes of this movie. And I don't blame him. I mean, the last 25 minutes of this movie is
It's just like it's basically like the ending of E.T., but for like a whole act of a movie.
Exactly.
It's
I
crazy.
literally don't blame it for being the hardest thing. And he said it like in his life, there was nothing harder than editing the last 25 freaking minutes of this movie. I would not have wanted to be him in it. I'm just saying. I mean, because it's
It's
just there's
just
so
like,
much going on.
At this point, folks, we're just gonna be like, that looks so pretty.
Well, let me say this just to undercut that a little bit. So while this does look so pretty, it
Dragon,
does.
really, Dragon, really.
I'm not. I haven't said my thing yet. Here's the thing. It's like I agree with that 100%.
I literally don't
great.
believe you right now.
I-
We get like a half hour's worth of just like an awesome, like cathartic finale. Go ahead, Dragon. Go ahead.
I'm not saying what you think I'm saying. Saying that yes, it's real. I just wonder if you guys think it goes on a little long. It looks. That's
No,
well, I'm
it does
conflicted.
not go on too long. It's perfect.
Well, I'm
This
saying
film has me, Dragon. This film has me under its spell.
what I'm trying to say is that while it's
We're in a Disney debate right now. Go ahead, Dragon.
my point is that watching it, yes, it's beautiful. Not any thought of it going on too long, but it's undercut by it's so darn beautiful. It just kind of undercuts that point at all. Just like it's like it's a painting come to life at every shot. So it just kind of undercuts the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole thing for me is that what people forget about the rest of the film is that like a good 75-80% of this film is not effect shots. You know what I mean? Like it's all family stuff and it's all character development and it's all government stuff. So I think to have this cathartic thing at the end of the movie, I think it's one of Spielberg's crowning achievements, to tell you the truth. I really do. I think it plays together like a symphony.
I mean,
It's
let's
like-
face it. This scene onward is like what people remember the movie for.
I mean, I really do think this is like live action Fantasia right here. And
Now,
yeah,
what-
maybe it is a little bit style over something, Dragon, if you want to call it that. But
Speaking of Fantasia, I'm sorry. The influences of the movie. It was four things. It was Firelight. It was Firelight was the meteor shower. It was When You Wish Upon a Star, and it was one sequence from Fantasia, Night on Bald Mountain.
I could definitely see the ball.
Those are the four things that,
especially with the giant mountain in the backdrop. Yeah,
exactly. Hence, I'm saying those are the four influences that Spielberg, like, he was on Inside the Actor's Studio, and he highlighted like the
Dude,
inspiration
Inside the Actor's Studio. How good is that show?
Now, speaking of that, you're right, it's a great show. And what James Lipton pointed out something kind of blew Spielberg's mind about this scene, so it's very relevant. Is that just this whole basically music and computers. Spielberg's mother was a concert pianist and in music, and his father worked in computers again, like kind of Roy in this movie. And basically, he kind of asked Spielberg right on the spot, did it ever occur to you during the making that was this kind of basic representation of your mother and your father together, kind of making something very, very creative, very much like Spielberg, kind of like Spielberg's birth.
And Spielberg just had like an oh my god, I didn't realize it at the time.
He said
but yes.
He said he's not that. He said, I wish I could take credit for that, but I'm in front of all of you. I didn't realize until this very moment. You're absolutely right.
That's awesome.
It is. It's like kind of therapy on stage. That was kind of Spielberg's moment. Like, oh my god, yes. Basically, this whole scene, if you want to really boil it down, really ridiculously, but awesomely, this is Spielberg's birth. We're seeing technically.
Oh god.
It's the birth of the marriage between
Oh
the
man.
marriage and the harmony between technology and music.
Mm.
Which is kind of Williams and Williams and kind of the special effects, which make kind of a Spielberg.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
And as I said with the music, I just think it's gorgeous the way that the score just kind of is blend like that little xylophone thing. It's just like blended itself into the fabric of the actual composition of the score at this point. Okay, this scene is this is maybe going to be an odd comparison, but this scene kind of reminds me of Fantasia a little bit. The way they're all sort of just shaking hands and congratulating each other.
You know the interludes in Fantasia?
It reminds me of the orchestral interludes in Fantasia.
Yeah. Right.
Which it is in a lot of ways. This whole segment is like an interlude. You know what I mean? It's like it's like basically what we just saw was like the opening composition, and now we're going to get the suite.
I'm going to reach back about an hour and 47 minutes because this is one of the points I forgot to mention. Lacombe. When we first see Lacombe, he looked a lot like Spielberg, oddly. It's kind of Spielberg we recognize because he has the gray hair and he had sunglasses and like a scarf and a hat on. Looked very much like Spielberg today.
That's such a cool effect shot with the clouds.
Oh, yes. Very kind of Rhino-esque from James and the Giant Peach.
And of course, even more Raiders here with the clouds.
Yes, yes.
Don't look. Look away from the bright light.
Oh my god! Just it's so visually stimulating.
Just watching this and just seeing how it looks so much like Raiders, I was expecting all the people down there, the aliens, to like smite them off the face of the rock.
They're just like
they really lucked out.
One guy's eyes
were
melt
non-violent
glasses or something like. Oh.
Everyone in this movie just really lucked out the aliens were non-violent.
Right? They have a perfect target, just like.
Now, let me ask you guys this: Do you think had they gotten the message wrong, you think they would have been either curtains or just like this would have passed them over?
I honestly don't think these are violent aliens at all. I think they would have just passed them over, if anything.
I don't trust anything.
Again, non-violent, but they did kidnap people against their will.
For
you know what?
Purposes and to spread their knowledge. Yeah.
Here's the thing I think would have fixed that for me is when our guys come out, and this is like a very small thing. I think I would have loved to see added like in
oh my god,
we didn't.
Is
if one of them just said when the pilots come out, I would have loved to hear them say like they saved us. The idea they got them out.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
To me, at least it would have given us like a little nugget of like, okay, that's why they abducted them, And now here's like some of these logos. Like there's a truck that just went by. I think some of these the Exxon logos in one of these.
I love how they have a bunch of different cameras taking the same picture, so there's proof that it's all the same. That's great.
Yeah, they had the spy camera. That one guy used like the little, the elongated one, the small one. That's like the old kind of James Bondian spy camera.
Mm-hmm.
All this recording equipment too for the sound.
Right.
And they're also really, God bless synthesizers. Otherwise, again, the upcoming scene never would have panned out well. Because the couldn't basically go back and forth the way they did. They needed the synthesizer for that.
The underside of the mothership was actually inspired by the lights of the San Fernando Valley at night.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? The weirdest things that they put into this stuff.
I can top that with something even weirder. Again, this is the word from the making of feature. I'm not just reading into this. I swear to God, this let's just say it's maternal for a reason. It's modeled after something very very maternal and let's just say bosomy.
Oh boy!
I kid you not. I swear to you, it's on the making of it.
Is that even a word?
I'm saying that's why like one part it's why you have kind of the city structure on the like kind of the city as structure pointing at the one side, and that's why it's round on the other.
Oh my gosh!
It was modeled after something bosomy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the this final moment between Roy and I forget her name. I'm dumb. Jillian, yes, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, Dragon.
I know you're extraordinarily bad with names, yes.
I know. I love that moment because it's just sort of like it's a big final thing between them. It's like, like they had each other in their lives for a certain point, and then Roy is going down, like she's not ready to go down yet. Roy's ready to take the trip. It's all very symbolic of what's going to happen at the end. But I love how as she's up there on the mountain, not ready to get close to the aliens, the biggest ship of all flies right past her. And we're going to get to that soon. Mm-hmm. I just love the payoff of that, and that kind of stuff, that kind of visual storytelling, her being on the mountain, not ready to go close to the aliens, but the aliens being close to her. That is exactly what I am talking about in terms of like why I think them climbing around on the mountains works.
Mm-hmm.
very quiet.
Taking us a while to get there.
You know what? You know what?
I'm kidding. All right, it's fine. It's like I told you, it's always just the beauty of it undercuts any criticism with the ending.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's the point I was trying to make before, just being chopped at every turn. Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's a
Oh, yeah.
beautiful model.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I'm
I
talking
can't
about.
believe it's not. Well, there's probably CG in there now, isn't there? Yeah.
What, CGI?
Well, let's see. What if,
No, CG.
I don't think there is.
No, Steven
No?
Spielberg was actually messing around with CG for a while, but he's like, it just seemed so unrealistic and
Yeah.
ridiculous that he just left it out.
I gotta wonder
Wow,
if
that's
that
there's
pulsating
CGI.
light.
It looks amazing.
I gotta wonder if that pulsating light is added though.
Which?
See, as the thing goes over the mountain, it's like kind of there's like this pulsating light that was there. So I wonder if that was added or not.
Oh, I don't know. I do know that the stars were added, though. The stars aren't real.
There we go. I'm in the shadow.
We're just like everyone else in the movie. We're seriously, this moment gets me every time. It's just, ugh.
I think, honestly, my favorite parts of this movie are really the dark clouds.
Yeah.
I just really love the effect of the clouds.
Oh, by the way, God, it's probably passed already, but underneath the ship, basically with that kind of that city-like structure, they worked in a Star Wars Easter egg.
Oh yeah, I bet.
R2-D2 is underneath.
Oh, God.
He's built into the ship, the mothership. Yeah, it's probably passed already, but he's using one of these shots.
No, wait. Maybe. Well,
It's art.
It's hard to spot because there's so much
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And it's just a dome, so how are you even gonna?
yeah, it's kind of hard to figure that out.
There's a freeze frame. Well, not here.
This dude's like, yeah, here, bye.
Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park.
Yeah, went to a porta potty. Yeah.
Yeah, and look how well that ended for him.
How does that thing land? There's so much coming out of it.
Wow. Just, oh, God. That is the best designed spaceship ever.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
It
care
is.
what anyone says. And of course, Jillian up on the rocks, like, holy crap.
I know, she's like, oh
That's
my
a
god,
big ship.
look at their glasses.
Yep.
The glasses are awesome.
Kind of sporting the Top Gun look.
They're government glasses.
I know, it's the same glasses.
We need some disconnect. What do we got on the budget? Glasses? Okay, let's do that.
They all put on the exact same pair.
I
We
know.
buy them in bulk.
Look at them all. They're all wearing the same glasses.
Oh, I love this guy's just reaction.
This is where the Williams music is doing what I was talking about, especially when he gets on the ship. It's when it goes that build upon build upon build.
Well, at this point, it is like, this is like the start of the build, right?
Yeah, it's like the start, and it keeps building throughout. But like when when we have like bigger moments happening, then it starts to really swell and build on that.
Right, right.
I honestly don't like the way the aliens look in this movie.
Not a
Well,
big
you know
fan
what's-
of it either.
I'll tell you what's interesting. The aliens here, of course, before ET, obviously, but
Oh.
they had three. They were going for like kind of different races of people with aliens. So they had different races. I was saying that Spielberg's team putting into account what his logic was for is that it was like they wanted to show that like different races and kind of another similarity has to humanity. So that's why you have three different types of alien here. You have
Oh, I
the-
like that. I
You
like
have the
that.
long spindly one who initially looked
Aw.
like I like this move. Like if you were to delineate the three races, one initially looks scary with the kind of spidery look. And then you have the cute kind of kid-like ones, and then you have like the friendly alien. It's kind of like this. Honestly, it's kind of a blend of what ET kind of turns into.
Ugh, ET is horrible, okay?
So the movie or the character?
Everyone always talks about it.
The design.
The whole thing. It's just ET is secretly evil, okay? Everyone just loves him, and that's what they want That's what he wants them to do, and no one realizes how.
Gabby, I'm kind of with you on the character, but I am not with you on the movie.
Well, here's the deal: the movie's actually not that bad, but E.T. is scary as hell. Okay,
There is a
E.T.
really
is
dark
creepy.
joke I can make about E.T. right now, but I'm not.
E.T. really is creepy, though. I mean, especially when he'd lift up his neck and scream. I'm like, come on.
Well, I think the animatronic used for the movie is creepy, but the CGI really isn't that bad. I mean,
It's not that bad, but it's just the character. The
All right, can we
character
not
is
talk
creepy.
about?
Okay, we have different ETs, guys. Different ETs. So we have the best game of Simon ever going on right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Again, possibly
What
against general
alien-
research here, this was the origin of Simon. Technically, it was so good to create a game.
If aliens were real and they looked nothing like this, they would be so offended with us. We'd like make them look so horrible.
Honestly, that's the movie. Well, we kind of got that with Paul. But I want to see more of that. Like that's an alien movie I'd love to see.
Paul's lame.
Paul was like,
Paul's not. Look, I'm not saying it's hardly Yates, but it's it's okay.
It's hardly Yates. What?
Every time I use that reference, you keep forgetting it's in Saving Mr. Banks. Every time I
saving Mr. Banks, but it's still hilarious because it's like so. It's the most random place to say it. It's the most random time. It's hardly Yates. Well, I'm sorry.
When you think of when you say Yates, I just think of David Yates, the director of the Harry Potter franchise.
what are you guys even talking about now?
it's
I mean, the only thing I think of is freaking, Colin Farrell, dude,
the poet.
dying.
It's hardly Yates.
What?
Saving Mr.
Anyways.
Banks. There's a point where Pamela brings her father up to work. Okay, she's like,
Okay,
"Father,
let's-
look, I won this." And he said, "Oh wow, okay."
She wrote something, and
Hardly
he
Yates.
reads it. She wrote a poem. He says it's hardly Yates. Yates being a famous poet. It's hardly high art.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm still very, very lost.
All right, I'll explain it to you later. So the point is, like, Paul's okay. That's the genesis of that tangent. Paul's okay.
Wow, that tangent was all about fucking Paul. Paul does not deserve a tangent like that.
Well, you started. I referenced Paul, and then you brought him up. The point is,
Paul.
that's what I'm saying. You're doing it all over again.
That movie was a
Yeah,
major
the point-
disappointment to me. Anyways.
The point, anyway. Good aliens. Well,
Let's
also
look at the
just the point
aliens.
is,
As everyone
Yeah,
runs.
I was just trying to comment again. That was a big, really cool idea for a movie. Just get aliens' reaction to how it's presented in pop culture.
We really do have a horrible. It's kind of like how
I love the blues there. Oh my god.
It's kind of like how a lot of people depict, I don't know, dinosaurs, but then there's some scientists that say dinosaurs didn't roar. They most likely, they were more like birds or, the voice boxes. Or how people depict Jesus as a white guy with brown hair when
like just to kill
scientifically
you.
they say he could actually be dark-skinned with,
Right. You guys really have to see that Kevin Spacey movie, K-Pax. Everyone check out K-Pax with Kevin Spacey. There's a good alien movie for you.
I've heard of it.
Anyway.
Here we are. The moment of truth. Look at everyone's faces, though.
You know what's hilarious? They tried with this first alien. They put an orangutan in an alien costume and rolled him down roller skates.
Oh my god.
You can imagine it did not go well, so they didn't do that.
Yeah, that does not sound like it would go well.
Well, bear in mind, we're not the alien yet, but I was just jumping ahead. But this is the point. This is part of the return. I would love if the soldier here, who, by the way, Tiki, I don't know if you caught this. Here's a great Spielberg reference. I have to wonder if it's just coincidence. It must be coincidence, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
You picked it's the first military guy that kind of walks in here. His name is Frank Taylor, and Frank Taylor was one of the aliases Frank Abagnale used in Catch Me If You Can.
I did not.
He was the pilot.
I did not catch that.
And Frank just kind of.
All right.
Dragon, you must have like some kind of superhuman mind where you pick up on the tiniest details.
I know, right?
I was saying Frank Taylor. It was his pilot alias in Catch Me If You Can, which was a Spielberg directed film. So amazing coincidence because that was Catch Me If You Can based on real life. So
United States Navy.
yes.
The way that these people say their lines, it just sounds so bad sometimes. I don't think they realized it.
This is kind of nice. I'm checking off the list of, hey, everyone's accounted for. So over time, they're always kind of taping it off. Like, he's back, she's back. There's the kid. Okay.
Good visual representation of that.
It's a cool idea. They haven't aged the day. And again, I sort of love that, like, they saved us, or like they helped us out in some way. Or we like a little one line.
How have they not aged?
They were
probably kept
not in our
stasis
time.
so yeah.
But I would honestly hate that because if I had somebody that I loved or I cared about, they got old and died, and I just lived. It's kind of like Aliens.
Futurama did an episode parodying this return, like you're not aging, with the whole, with the whale of obsession. You remember that, Tiki?
No, but I mean, just the whole idea of like, freezing yourself and aging, like coming back in the future. And not, obviously that's Futurama in a nutshell, but.
Yeah, I mean, like the little like a Close Encounters homage of the return, like in like a seasons. It might be like 6 or 7. I don't know.
Oh no,
you're
right. I haven't seen any of the comedies.
Oh, okay, that's probably sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless, I think you're hitting upon the same thing. Yeah, it's kind of a.
I've been meaning to
cool
go back
sci-fi.
and catch up on the new Futurama stuff. I just haven't gotten a chance.
Well, it's all on Netflix.
I know it's on Netflix. I have other stuff I'm watching on Netflix.
All right. Now, this to me is a really sweet scene. This is like this is the payoff. I just wish we could have gotten early, but again, it feels so worth it in all this great stuff here.
Well, I like how at the end of the film, it's like everyone is like all of like the government and the citizens are all just kind of one. You know what I mean? They're all just having this experience together. I think there's a really good message in that.
Honestly, I think my favorite Truffaut stuff's probably in this section, just when he has that moment with Dreyfus, and then he's going to do his interpreter and kind of helping him out. It's really nice. And of course, now they're having their cake and eating it too, minus an orangutan.
What I want to know is why they had Dreyfus' father act in the movie, but then they took all of those scenes out.
I'm sorry, what?
Richard Dreyfuss' father was in the movie. He actually did some scenes, but at the end of editing and everything, not one scene of his father is actually in the movie.
Huh. That's strange. Oh yeah, well, I
don't know
know
why.
his father was in this, but I mean, I guess it's kind of a similar thing to why her parents were in the movie. Just like either, just they want to run too long with it, maybe.
Right.
You learn something new every day.
And of course, this is obviously no doubt the most ambitious movie of Spielberg's career.
Absolutely. I mean, he's making choices that may seem insane to some people.
Sure, very much so. And I do think to this day, this movie is the closest that Spielberg got to Stanley Kubrick. I mean, fuck AI. I mean, look, AI has its moments, all right? We'll probably talk about AI on a future Spielberg.
When we're desperate for Spielberg movies, then we'll get the AI. But yeah.
I mean, I'll talk about AI before I talk about something like The Color Purple or something.
Or 1941.
Like right.
But yeah, I absolutely agree with your point. That you're right. This is honestly because again, every shot's just
this is easily the most Kubrickian movie of Spielberg's career, I think.
Yes, he was going for the 2001 vibe, and he succeeded in spades.
Look at how ridiculous they look, though. I mean, they look like they're dancing.
Well, Spielberg's fear and the thing he tried to avoid, same thing with E.T., honestly. And I just think with aliens in general, Spielberg, I take it, is that he hates the idea of looking at looking like aliens just people in suits. So he wanted to go for, again, the orangutan makes them non-human looking, but it just
It looks like a spider. It looks like Coraline's other mother.
It does. It really does.
Marionette. They went with the marionette look on this thing.
Almost kind of has an H.G. Geiger look almost. Especially
I like
when
the
it's
lens
on
flare.
legs.
Lens flare. Again, I love keeping it obscure with the light.
That was just cummed.
Yes, Tiki.
Not a big fan of these guys here. It's not very creative.
You're right.
I like the look of the slender guy. I agree that these guys are kind of
I don't like
underwhelming.
But these dudes look literally just like a freaking actor put on a suit and then put a fat head on.
Exactly. That's
literally what this looks like. So it's just I don't.
I do think the lighting helps obscure it, though.
Yeah.
It does, but at the same time, you can still tell this literally is either just a bunch of shorter people,
No, it's
They're a
or-
bunch of girls. They're little.
Yeah, little girls.
or with a bunch with like a fat head.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at that. That looks horrible.
Well, this is a cool thing with Jillian here, where she's taking the pictures coming up. But in addition to that, I think you guys are absolutely right on many parts. You know, I like how they kind of, it's like a catch-all. Like it's kind of Spielberg playing the whole thing, like leaving a lot to the imagination, where it's like the lighting obscures them really a lot. So any weakness in the look, kind of like a Jaws, like less is more almost. The less you, well, not exactly. I'm saying the less you see, the more your mind kind of adds detail.
Yeah, it does kind of like lead to the
covers flaws and imperfections.
Okay, these though, however, these shots where the camera gets closer and closer.
Yeah.
I like the shots. I just don't like the aliens.
I could be crazy here, but I think what they're going for, because again, they are wearing masks, not just like exposed faces.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, do you see how stupid
I'm with Gabby on this. This is like
Look at
kind of
their
like the one
eyes.
glaring issue with this whole finale.
Yes.
Tell me this. To you, when she was taking the pictures, the way that was cut, it kept going between the faces, between the shutters of the aliens, and the kid's face. Do you think they're kind of somewhat saying that, like, hey, the kid looks a little bit like the aliens, or what?
Oh no, I think the reason why they did that is, I mean, he obviously has been with them for God knows how long. I think he's just, examining them as she was, but I think he's more used to it because, he was taken.
And this is
I don't think the kid looks like that.
I'm just wondering, like, why focus on that while we're kind of intercutting? Maybe. I like that everyone's wearing sunglasses except for Dreyfus there, and of course he's the one who's going to get picked out amongst the rest because they see something special, and possibly because of the psychic link. That's probably another reason why Dreyfus is picked here. And this essentially it's kind of what the scene coming up is what got Dreyfus the job, because they needed this ending done right. You need kind of the boyish look on him, and they also need him to be able to cry and convey the emotions, which again Steve McQueen just couldn't do. They didn't want to corrupt this perfect ending you got going on here. And
it really is a perfect ending. I think it really is.
And Truffaut's look here is again, it's all these, just him looking back to Truffaut and Jillian and everything. It's his words. And I got to tell you, initially in the first watch, I was kind of wondering, like, he's just kind of. And Spielberg himself has said, he's always tinkering with this movie, like any filmmaker tinkering with their films at the last minute. And the filmmaker he is now with 7 kids, he would never have ended it this way. But back then, just being kind of the optimistic, like, what's out there, man? Yeah, we got to go explore things. Kind of the filmmaker, film student Spielberg. That's he sells you on this ending on the rewatch. Absolutely, he sells you on. Yeah, you buy that this guy really he's kind of cut his ties, and and this is the build upon the build upon the build in the score.
Oh yeah, very much so, very much.
This is the moment that has that right there.
And then he gets on. Oh God.
Yeah. And again,
it's about the designs of the aliens. They're not perfect, but it's the emotion of the scene that this captures that really, really works.
And again, it's like an optimistic thing of him leaving the Earth with kind of nothing tying him down. So again, I just
sure.
Don't really have any you're in his mindset. You don't have any second thought about this grand opportunity where if you divorce yourself from, like, wait a minute, no, he would never do. He has a family. Just that you'd be like.
And I do like how he has someone on Earth to look back on fondly.
Yes,
Jillian.
Exactly.
But it's not something tying him down to Earth.
And what they might be communicating is that it's like a proper, like, not a proper, like, like the right partner with her, because again she was like in this with him. It's like representative, like, working marriage, like she supports him, like she's like sad to see him go, and like the kids saying bye bye, all that stuff. It's like the family.
Exactly.
So he does get that family in some sense, but a supportive family instead of like a family dragging him down in life.
Right. Very much so.
This is nice. And this one, now here's the influence. Now, the way Spielberg reflected upon this scene right here, the alien does like the signs of the music. That Truffaut was laying out earlier on, which is, again, it's a nice ending. Basically, the idea was that, which I don't believe it gets communicated in either version, that this guy was going to stay behind. Well, an idea that hit Spielberg afterwards, like, what if you did this scene and the aliens stay behind, like, as like a foreign exchange thing? They take a human, we keep an alien, and that's where the idea for EP
they don't keep an alien.
Well, yeah, but it's just like this, where the seed kind of grew for the idea of like doing another alien-related film
for ET, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the origin of the idea. What if I ended Close Encounters a different way? Like, I kind of wish I could maybe play with the idea there, and just he developed that in ET.
Oops.
Of course, there's that Williams goodness.
Yeah, and this it's still building, Dragon. It's still building. It's not until the ship takes off that it reaches the climax.
Haven't had this much build.
Build.
Like, Interstellar is like, it's kind of funny. It's kind of Interstellar kind of borrows from this with the whole build upon the build upon the build with the whole like the goodbye kind of theme.
And here it comes. I think this is really the climax right here.
It's
this
the climax at 3 minutes left and 40 seconds.
Oh yeah, right here. Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, right there. Bam.
It's the city.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, fucking Spielberg. Oh god. You can't tell I'm clapping.
Oh
my god. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you think there is that an actual city?
No, I'm pretty sure it's a model.
No, I mean, is that like an actual city in the movie, like on a spaceship?
Oh.
Basically, it was just God help us all. The ship was basically modeled after the San Fernando Valley lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we saw, I believe we kind of saw, at least alluded to earlier in the movie when he's looking over the city with the lights.
What do you guys think of the choice to have the credits as the ship is ascending? I think that's great.
I liked it too. I thought it was a good move.
Because
I like
it's
the
almost
music here, though. I think this score right here is the best. This one just right here alone. It has like the climax in it, and it's, like all soft and smooth, and then powerful and then smooth. It just, I don't know. I think this is the best part.
I hear you.
Truffaut, I loved your book. Oh man, it's such a.
And it's just like as as the credits roll, it's like it almost kind of has this sort of like full circle, like like quality where the movie never ends. You know what I mean? Where it's like even as the credits are rolling, we're still seeing this imagery. We're still picturing us as Roy on that ship. We're still having all this emotion connected to what we just saw. Wow.
Truth be told, when that final alien came out of the ship and just greeted them, I actually started crying on my first viewing. Not like crying, just like.
Well, I mean, the emotion
joy.
It's overwhelming. The emotion really is overwhelming in that scene, Ezra. I can see where you're coming from there. All right, guys. So I guess we'll hit on some final thoughts. You guys want to go roundtable?
Bum, bum, bum. I'm still listening to the music. I told you, this is some good ending music.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah. It kind of vaguely sounds like Making Christmas.
It kind of does.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does sound a little bit like
Right.
Oh yeah.
Powerful, and then it slows down, and then it starts building up again and slows down. So it's like a big Christmas present all wrapped into one.
Okay.
Just enjoying some Spielberg magic here, folks. Just don't mind us. But no, we have to get back to the same thing. So
I know, right?
Characters and instance portrayal.
If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Special thanks to Johnny Mathis. Chances are, when you wish upon a star.
Yeah,
The Square Song.
When you wish upon the Square Song. Love song of the waterfall.
Furnished. 25062. So we should get her another. Sandy, what do you got final thoughts?
Putting you on the spot, Sandy.
Yes.
It's I don't. Well, I know. I have a big Spielberg retrospective book, which which basically introduced me to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I know there's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff about Close Encounters in that. Just never got to it, and it definitely does not strike me the way Raiders or E.T. does. But I don't think it's supposed to. It just doesn't have that same kind of obviously it doesn't have the same kind of pace and characters. But it's good in its own way. It does its own thing. That's what I like about it.
Right,
it's not anything. It's not really anything I go out of my way to see, but I'm done.
Dragon?
Right. So I had a really interesting experience with this movie because I hadn't seen it in years. Because just kind of you collectively know it like you usually you collectively know for the third act. For the big the kind of the Simon battle and the picking Dreyfus, the hand sign, all that stuff, and of course the Williams score. It's kind of always the main take. But watching it start to finish after these many years and a couple sittings in different versions, I got to tell you. Initially, again, the first view I had kind of a negative experience with it, where I was just looking at it looks.
It's funny, Dragon. Like you told me you had that negative experience, and then I went in kind of trepidatious, like, oh man, this is gonna have like a super slow pace to it. And I really like the experience I had. I'm sorry, I'll save this for my final thoughts. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I was so initially coming out, I was just like, okay, well, so I guess this is sort of like I understand why this is important to Spielberg's. So his career and kind of like how it kind of maps out kind of the way he does things. And so essentially it was, I came out and I have changed my tune. So I'm just going to say my initial thought was that it was basically his Spielberg's Avatar. And that, again, it looks great. It was a big game changer for him. And again, initial.
Okay. Because I was like,
I'm going, all right? Just let me finish. So
okay.
Initially, I was just coming out of it thinking, again, when I was really trepidatious about it, like going after watch, like, oh man, it goes on for a long time. I mean, I can't take, even from first, I was strikingly, it's beautiful, and I understand why it was such a huge thing. It really shaped a lot of things. My fear boiled down to is that maybe this is like every other film is borrowed so much from this that it may have outdated itself, which obviously is not true. But initially, I was thinking maybe it outdated itself, making it kind of not able to rewatch it. But rewatching it is giving me another an open-minded shot and kind of watching it again here tonight. It's I'm hit more by the emotion and I'm more impressed by the structure. So there's more to it than I thought. I still have a few issues with it. Most of them are nitpicks, but I think it doesn't. I basically understand it more than I ever thought I did, and I understand it more. I have more respect for it, and it still doesn't eclipse any of my other Spielberg favorites, but I can't ignore just kind of like the emotion. It kind of stirs up in you and kind of the kind of simplistic beauty. It has like a simplistic beauty about it.
It does.
Yeah,
it just does.
And if I ever just had this right, I have to stick somewhat to the Avatar thing. Only what I put it more politely as is that it's.
Ooh, you son of a bitch!
I'm getting there. Let me go.
I'm literally trolling you right now, Dragon. I'm sorry.
The lighter, simplistic version of it is that it's a beautiful painting you're watching. It's like a 2 hour plus painting you're watching come to life. It's a work of art. Yeah, I guess the better thing, just given the ending, is it's a symphony. It's a symphony, a work of art.
Absolutely. Okay, Gabby.
Whee! Okay. I honestly don't have that many problems with the film. I really like the music. I like the pace of it. I guess my only complaint would be the aliens. That really would be my only complaint, because it literally just felt like I said, they're just freaking, little children or girls or whatever in a suit and a plaster head, okay? And at one point when it's Gillian, right? I just don't want to say Jillian, but I don't know which one.
It is Jillian.
Yeah,
it is Jillian?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Jillian. So when Jillian's taking the photos, I mean, you see close-up faces.
Oh, I know.
Before the days of dried Play-Doh and chicken wire.
I know. It's like, oh, God, this is horrible. But other than that, I really liked it. I think that, I don't know, I think it just went well together. I think it was a decent movie. I really don't have many problems with it. I think it worked well. It all went well together.
Yep. And yeah, folks, I mean, I definitely echo the sentiments. Like, Gabby, I'm sure you like this better than E.T., but...
Oh, by far. However, I do know E.T. better than this movie because every year I get, like, the courage to watch E.T.
Oh, God.
So even though I'm cringing the whole time, I actually know E.T. pretty well.
All right. You've seen the whole movie through?
Yeah, I think I've seen it like 10 times.
Oh wow, good for you.
But yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat with at least Dragon and Sandy when it comes to like, yeah, it's not as good as like it's not, Jaws, E.T., Jurassic Park.
No, it's not as good, but at the same time, it's
not trying to be like this is
movie.
Definitely like as Dragon said, it's a painting, it's a symphony, it's a work of art. And I think it's really interesting because as we've kind of been doing throughout the commentary,
it's a stab at Kubrick.
Yes, yes, but as we've been doing throughout the commentary, we've just been like listing like all these different influences. Like Dragon, I feel like the reason why it felt dated on your initial watch is because it almost sort of had that effect of like, you know, like this is the thing that sort of paved the way for all the iconic imagery of Spielberg that we've gotten over the years, and this is where it originally came from. And so you kind of have that sort of been there, done that feel to it at first, but then when you really sit down and watch the movie, understand the characters, understand, you know, the point of the pacing and why the pacing is the way it is and the build, it really does come together into something truly beautiful, I think. I really didn't know how I was going to feel rewatching this movie. I remember this movie, frankly, boring the shit out of me when I was a kid. I'm not going to lie. I'm really not going to lie. This movie just didn't do it for me at all when I was a kid. But yeah, man, I mean, looking at this through adult eyes, it's a fucking beautiful work of art, and I'm really glad we chose it as the intro to Spielberg Month. So,
Right.
and so next time on Spielberg Month, we will be tackling
appropriately as second installment.
Yes, if Jurassic Park is my favorite Spielberg movie of all time, The Lost World Jurassic Park might be my least favorite Spielberg movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah,
Really? Oh my
I-
god!
I have so many issues with The Lost World, but
I
we're going
really
to talk
do.
about it. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, it's gonna be fun to see. Oh, yeah.
Let's just say, folks, The Lost World Jurassic Park is going to be a more lively commentary. It's definitely not going to be like, ooh, this is so pretty. No,
no.
it's going to be
just gonna be bitter and cynical. That's what the whole thing is gonna be.
pretty
It's like,
much.
what
pretty
the
much.
heck was he thinking? Spielberg, how
honestly
could you do this to us?
It's not. I've always had problems, even when I was a child, with it. I
Yeah,
was like,
even
what
when I
the
was a
hell
kid,
is
I agree.
this?
I agree.
Not
Yeah,
even
you watch-
Goldblum can save this.
No, you
I
watched the
think
first
Goldblum
one.
is one of the problems with it. I think Goldblum is basically a proto Jack Sparrow.
All right. Sorry, Gavin. Keep going.
You watch the first one and you're like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And then you stumble upon this piece of crap and you're like, what the hell what just happened? We just went from, this amazing movie to, the fuck is this? I'm
I'll
like,
be going into it fresh. I have no idea what the big deal with it is quite yet.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
So yeah,
no.
it'll be a fun conversation. It'll probably be a more fun conversation than this.
most likely.
I think this was an insightful conversation. That's going to be a fun conversation.
We'll be like, and this dude did this. This dude screwed up here.
Okay.
What the hell was this plot for? Yeah, it's colorful.
It is. It is.
It's dinosaur-y.
Okay. But in the meantime, folks, as we gaze at the spaceship going up into the stars, and as we dread the Goldblum to come, we put to rest this installment of Spielberg Month, and yeah, I got nothing. I need to come up with a legitimate outro. I'm sorry.
Well, at one point, Dragon started singing, and you were talking, so I'm like, is this our outro? Is this
How about the outro is literally just us humming the theme music to whatever movie?
How
Oh,
about
God.
no?
Dun, dun, dun.